streak, actually, with a 4-2 win over St. Louis last night, scoring 4 times. It was one of the problems the Jets have had this season is scoring goals.
Well, they are, Larry. They're, I think, the third lowest goals scored for in the league right now, and I think maybe that partially is due to the fact that they are an expansion club. They're coming into the NHL from the WHA, and they don't have the big gunners, although they do have a few fellows that put the puck in the net with Winnipeg last year. I think they're finding a little different now that they moved into the NHL, but it's going to take them a little bit of time to get their feet wet and get accustomed to this league, and I'm sure that they're going to produce some good hockey. I know they already have, and some more of it before the season's out.
You know, the Red Wings are showing signs of revival. Is there any one thing you can put your finger on that is a reason?
Well, I don't know. I think the last 3 or 4 games they've been skating, if you might say, with reckless abandon. They've been really, guys like LeBratton, Nedomansky have really been flying and making things happen out there, and they've been making the other teams take penalties on them, and they've been capitalizing on their power play. But I think if there was one thing, I think you might say that they're communicating much better together, I think, with their coach, and I think you can see it in their overall play. It really does show, and as a result, they've been getting some points.
You mentioned Nedomansky. He had a big game against the Winnipeg Jets in the first meeting. The Red Wings won 5-1. Ned had 3-goal hat trick, and Peter Mahavlich had 3 assists on that night. The Red Wings have played just 9 home games, Mickey. It's got to be tough to be playing all these games on the road.
It is, I'm sure. Although, you know, you look at their record, and it looks rather dull right at this point in time, but taking into account that they have only played 9 home games, they've got something to look forward to coming down to the second part of the year and, you know, the latter part of the year, which, you know, is very important when teams start to get tired, players start to get tired. They're hanging in there right now. I'm sure that Bobby Curran and Ted Lindsay would have liked them to have more points at this point in time, but as you say, they've only played the 9 home games, and there's no question that most teams are more effective at home than they are on the road. So it's got to be difficult for them, but, you know, going into the season, they look at it and they say, well, we've got so many games that we've got to start going on the road, and they go out and do their best in those games, knowing that they've got that advantage coming back home.
The Wings had a big comeback the other night against the Philadelphia Flyers. They came back to win by a score of 4-2. We might take a look at one of the goals that was scored in that game. It was by Big Willie Huber, and it was a big goal, a big slap shot in the third period that brought the game to within 1 goal. See the action taking place here, and Willie Huber lets fly with about a 30-foot slap shot and turned on the red light, and the score then became 4-3. There was another big goal scored later in that hockey game. It was one that tied it up, and the youngster LeBratton tied it up for the Red Wings on that one.
Well, LeBratton's been playing very well, Larry, in the last 7 or 8 ball games. Right now, I believe he's got 22 points in 22 games for the Wings, but he's really had his skating shoes on the last 2 or 3 weeks, and you can see that he does make things happen out on the ice when he's skating the way he is.
We talked about Bobby Hull, the veteran of the Winnipeg Jets. They've got a couple of really good young hockey players. A fella that is leading the scoring right now for Winnipeg has sort of paced this team.
That's right. Peter Sullivan, of course, last year, I believe he had 46 goals for Winnipeg, and here's a fella here that doesn't seem to be having too much trouble adjusting to the NHL. He's already got 14 goals so far this season, and he's playing with Bobby Hull at center with Bobby, and from what Bobby says, he's a real speedster and real playmaking centerman, of course, which would be great for Bobby, and he can really let it go. But he's a real fancy Dan type hockey player. I guess scores a lot of goals from deeks and real fancy moves in close.
When you go to an expansion draft, there are people that you have that you feel you must get. They got one in Lukowicz.
Well, Lukowicz was their priority in the 79 draft, and this kid had a lot of goals last year. He had 65 goals, which is in any league tremendous, and he's a good hard-shooting, hard-skating left winger, and also does not take a backseat to anybody as far as going into the corners and mixing it up. So it's a good, tough hockey player, and the Jets have got some players that can do some damage.
Two teams have returned to the ice, and the start of tonight's game now is just moments away. The Red Wings have had a little bit of a problem, Mickey, with a virus or the flu or something. Danny LeBratton missed the practice yesterday, and Rogie Vachon also was sidelined. Rogie will not be in goal this evening. As you can see on the left corner of your screen, Jimmy Rutherford will be in goal for the Red Wings this evening. So just how effective LeBratton will be in skating tonight, only time will tell.
Well, the flu, of course, Larry, certainly takes it out of you, but the way he was skating in Philadelphia on Sunday night, I guess, he played a whale of a hockey game, scored a big goal to tie the game for them with just about 3 minutes to go in the game. You know, his sport is skating, so I'm sure we'll know right away, looking at him out in the ice, whether the flu is really going to affect him or not. In the warm-up so far, he doesn't look to be affected, but again, it's a different story once the puck's dropped.
Talking about that goal of his that tied the game at 4-4 at Philadelphia the other night, the game ended in a 4-4 tie. The goal that he got was a spectacular goal. He was almost knocked down, kept his balance, was spun around. We just showed it to you on the replay. How does a man, is that strictly a sense of where you are on the ice to be able to maintain your balance and get a shot like that off and be accurate with it?
Well, you know, it's the funny thing about that was he tried to split the defense, and he did accomplish that. But, you know, it's one of the old rules is, you know, if you don't succeed at first, keep trying again. And they say if you try to split the defense 10 times and make it once, it's a good average, because anytime you have a 1-on-2 situation, you really should not get a good opportunity on the goal, let alone score a goal. But he persisted in busting through the two Philadelphia defensemen, and fortunately for Danny, the puck came flying through. He did a little bit of a pirouette and turned around, and it was right there again, and he just slammed it home, and the Philadelphia goaltender had no chance on it. But this is the things that will happen when you persist and try to make those plays work for you.
Well, the fans are standing here at Olympia Stadium in Detroit as the two teams gather around their respective goaltenders, and here are our national anthems. At Olympia this evening. Here are the officials. The referee is Ron Wicks, the linesman Ron Coit, and Leon Stickle. The goaltenders for tonight, Gary Smith for the Jets. He's 4-8-4 with a 3.65 goals against average. They call him the Axe. He has already accumulated 23 minutes of penalty time. And Jimmy Rutherford in goal for the Wings. He's 3-4-2 with a 3.34 goals against average. So we're about ready to go with the opening face-off as Lyle Moffitt skates in, along with the Wings' Paul Woods, and we'll have this game underway in a matter of a second, and it is underway. Puck shot back into the Red Wings' end, and it's chased back by Larson, comes to the near side. On the near boards, it's cleared out to center. Picked up there by Moffitt. He shoots it back to his own zone to Norwich. Off the left it comes now to Lasuk. right wing it goes to Cameron. Dumped in. And Rutherford makes the stop, leaves it back on the far side, thrown to Huber on the near. He can't get to it, comes out along the near boards. And a centering pass by Moffett is knocked down by Paul Woods, goes to the right side. Norwich with a shot and a rebound up front, and it's covered up.
Boy, quite an opportunity right off the bat, Larry, for Lyle Moffett. The rebound came off Jimmy Rutherford's right pad. And boy, he was standing in the slot and just let it go right away. And real good save by Jimmy right off the bat here to open the game. You see it on the replay. The shot comes from the right point. The right pad of Rutherford makes the save. And there's Moffett just in behind Willie Huber. And he lets it go right away. And Jimmy, very alert, covered up on his left side.
Well, the Jets are changing, as have the Red Wings. McCourt's line is on now. And on for the Jets, Ron Wilson. Faceoff will take place to the left of Jimmy Rutherford. In case you've just joined us, we are just seconds into the hockey game. There is no score, although the Jets were a little bit dangerous for a moment. Chased by Marsh, goes into the corner, picked up by Long. Long being shadowed by Wilson. Now McCourt picks it up, skates it up the left side. His bad pass and a shot and a score. As Boris Lukowicz intercepted a bad pass and drove it past Jimmy Rutherford. And 55 seconds into the hockey game, the Jets have taken a 1-0 lead.
Well, Lukowicz, again, Larry, we talked about him in the pregame show. He didn't waste any time with that. He just let it go immediately, and a real bad play by McCourt. Deep in your own zone like that, you don't like to throw the puck away when you're not looking, and that's exactly what Dale did. And unfortunately for him, Lukowicz was there, and 1-0 for Winnipeg.
Lukowicz, incidentally, had 65 goals for the Jets last year. He is a goal scorer. I don't think you'll get any easier one than that. Pass intercepted. Lukowicz with a shot from the point. Goes to the corner. Taken there by Wilson. Goes in behind. Now along the near boards, down to the left point to Campbell. Swept to the near side by Rutherford. Campbell along the board with Nedomansky. Picked up by Larson. Larson circles back in his own end as the Red Wings try to bring it out. Off the Long. Sends it for LeBronton, and a shot back in, and Rutherford again is forced to make the save. Throws it to the far boards. LeBronton skates past the man, shoots it out to Nedomansky. There's 2-on-2. Big net on the right, winds up, shoots it high off the glass. McCourt goes into the corner along with Lukowicz. Now it's tied up there by Lukowicz, and Melrose, along with McCourt, will have a face-off to the right of Gary Smith.
Larry, on that play by McCourt, there's a cardinal rule in hockey is never try to throw the puck across the ice like that. And I'm sure Dale didn't realize that nobody was there for his own team, and one of the Winnipeg players was there. But it's one of the big things that you've got to really work on is keeping control of the puck in your own zone and not throwing it blindly away. And that's what Dale did on that instance, and it cost him a goal. So I know that Bobby Crom has been working with his team in their defensive zone the last few weeks, and that's the kind of thing they're going to have to try to avoid.
Well, the Wings down 1-0 with 18:08 left in the first period of tonight's hockey game. Pete Mahovlich will take the face-off with Peter Sullivan when play resumes. We're talking about Lukowicz a moment ago scoring that goal. He had 65 goals and 34 assists for a total of 99 points last year. In 3 years in the WHA, he had 219 points, scoring 132 goals. Puck comes out to center ice. Picked up there by Thompson. Pass intercepted by Hall. Off to the right it goes now to Lindstrom. Lindstrom ridden into the boards behind, and the loose puck is picked up by Thompson. Thompson brings it out to center. He's got Foligno out in front. Thompson takes it in. His shot is steered to the boards by Cameron, and it comes out to Hall. Hall loses the puck. Foligno tried to intercept, couldn't get to it, and Cameron taps it out to center. Sullivan has it taken away by Foligno. Mahovlich back now to Willie Huber. Huber to the far side. Jolly, and he returns to Willie. Back to Jolly on the left. And down left wing. Pass intercepted at center ice by Amadeo. Fired back into the Red Wings end, and Detroit is having a little trouble getting an offense underway. Huber to Foligno. Foligno ahead on the left wing to Errol Thompson. Thompson gets it back to Huber. Huber loses it. Kept in by Mahovlich. Tried to get it to Thompson, knocked down. Thompson picks it up in the corner. Back out to Foligno. Foligno moving in. Foligno shoots. It's knocked away by Smith and picked up by Schubert. Now brought out by the Winnipeg Jets. Schubert shoots it in behind the net. Rutherford tosses to the far side to Thompson. Just changing on the fly. It comes out to Woods, and he retreats into his own end with Peter Marsh right with him. Now it comes out on the left wing to Hicks. Hicks being bothered by Marsh on the board. Woods comes in, picks it up. Woods back out to the blue line, and it comes back to center ice. And Ford shoots it back toward the blue line. It's loose, and the Jets control the puck. Long shot off the stick of Stamler. Goes against the boards on the far side. Korn trying to clear. It's kept in the Red Wings' end. Rutherford leaves it for Woods. Now Paul brings it up the middle, gives it to Polonich, gets away from him, kicked ahead by Korn at center ice on the far boards. He kicks it back now to Woods. Paul gives it to Barry Long. Long eludes a check. Off to Korn. Korn, centering pass intended for Hicks, broken up by Norwich, goes to the corner. Now Korn turns around, and it's brought up the ice by Norwich of the Jets. Norwich offside on the right wing, as Stamler got in too quickly.
Almost invariably, Larry, you see this type of thing happen with a team like the Jets, who really is not supposed to be competitive. They're an expansion team, and people just take them too lightly. I think this is what we're seeing here in the first 4.5 minutes of the hockey game. The Wings not really expecting to have to come out and really work hard to win this game, but you just can't throw your sticks out in the ice and expect to get 2 points. They're going to have to go out and then no matter if it's Winnipeg or not, do a job against them. And of course, a quick goal like that sometimes can wake a team up to those cold facts and get them moving.
So look at the bench as Tom McVie shouts out some instructions. We get ready for the face-off at center ice. Huber takes the puck from the face-off, shoots it off to Jolly, out to McCourt. McCourt eludes a check. Right wing pass to Nedomansky. Nedomansky has it poked off his stick by Scott Campbell in a nice defensive play. And Campbell shoots it out to center. Picked up on the far wing by Mann. Mann trying to get through, and he's turned around. A puck comes free, and it's shot back at center ice. Norwich gives it to Campbell. He semi-fanned, then went back and picked it up. His pass is intercepted. LeBronton back to Huber. Huber out to center to Nedomansky to McCourt. McCourt ahead to LeBronton. It's knocked off his stick and comes back to center. Well, the Red Wings are having trouble even getting into the Jets zone. Now Jolly brings it up on the left side. Tried to feed LeBronton, went under his stick. Goes in behind. Smith sweeps it to the far side. Mann picks it up. Mann throws it to the near corner. Chased by Campbell. Along the near boards. Campbell is decked. A long pass down, however. Mann with a shot, and it's wide to the right. Jolly goes in along with Jimmy Mann. Raked out by the wings, out to Nedomansky. And we have 2-on-3 developing. Nedomansky's drop pass is deflected and picked up by the Jets. We go the other way with Lukowicz. Lukowicz working against Jolly. Lukowicz fell down. Now Jolly ahead to LeBronton on left wing. LeBronton trying to split to the fence. He's getting in, and a shot is back away, and a rebound by Foligno is covered up by Gary Smith. Now that's the first real opportunity that the Red Wings have been able to mount this evening.
Well, again, I think that was created there, Larry, by the speed of Danny LeBronton coming down the left side. Put the puck between the Winnipeg defenseman's feet, and it slid right to Smith, who cleared it right back onto Foligno's stick, and he unfortunately did not get a real lot of wood on it, and the puck bounced straight up in the air, and big Gary Smith caught it as it was coming down and probably would have gone into the net. There we see it on the replay. Smitty does make things exciting.
We've played 6 minutes of this hockey game. The Jets leading it by a score of 1-0. Dumped into the Red Wings' end, chased by Larson. Larson comes flying out the left side. Up across his own blue line to center and drives it on target. Smith makes the save and throws it to the near side to Lukowicz. Lukowicz starts it up to Mann. Mann has it knocked away. And it's shot back into the Red Wings' end. Taken there by Rutherford. He leaves it for Long. Long looking it over. Mahavlich circles back to the far corner, and his pass from Long intended for Mahavlich too far. Pete tries to get to it, but it's knocked away, and it's shot back into the Red Wings' end. And it's icing is finally called. It was a pretty good race for possession of the puck. It hit the backboard and came all the way back out, and the icing was whistled down.
And a picture of Lukowicz going in there, hustling for that puck again, and this kid really does like to mix it up, Larry. He as well as score some goals. He's tough in the corners, and I'm sure partially responsible for his goal-scoring feats.
He was voted the Jets' most exciting player last year, and you can see why based on what we've seen so far this evening. He really gets around. Big Pete Mahovlich. Face-off goes to the far wing. Picked up there by the Jets' Lindstrom. He gets it out to center ice to Sullivan. And it's out at center, and Bobby Hull picks it up. Over to Lindstrom. Lindstrom being challenged by Foligno, taken by Sullivan. He is the number 2 scorer on this Jets team. A shot by Norwich is gloved by Jimmy Rutherford, and it's picked up by Barry Long. Foligno out to center, intercepted by Lindstrom. Here come the Jets back. They've kept a lot of pressure on tonight. Big check by Larson. The puck goes in behind, out to the right point. A shot by Craig Norwich is gloved by Jimmy Rutherford. He leaves it for Long. Long was detained momentarily by a stick. Here comes Mahovlich. Mahovlich with a pass and was offside on the right wing. Apparently, Earl Thompson got in too quickly. It looked like the Wings might have something going there.
You know, if the viewers happen to notice a little bit of irregularity there in that shift of the Winnipeg Jets, Willie Lindstrom, of course, is a European player, and Bobby Hull played with Anders Hedberg and Ulf Nielsen, who are now with the Rangers, and you saw a lot of drop passes, a lot of circling, and that is the European style of hockey, and of course Bobby's adapted to that very well, playing with these guys over in Winnipeg for the last few years, but it's certainly a different type of game than you're used to watching out of our own players.
It is indeed. I would guess that Bobby Hull could adapt to just about any style of hockey.
I imagine he could.
We have 12:23 left in the first period. The Jets leading the Wings by a score of 1-0 on a goal by Morris Lukowicz. Jolly with the puck. To Korn. Hit on the left side, deflected into the Jets' end. Smith leaves it behind the net for Campbell. He's tied up. Puck comes loose, and it comes to the near side. Now it comes all the way back out to center. Hogebaum. Blows it. Lukowicz knocks it in, and it's picked up there by Jimmy Korn. To Jolly. Tipped out. Intended for Hogebaum. It's knocked away. Jolly at center. Loses it. Lindstrom picks it up. Lukowicz with a shot. It's just wide to the right. It's out to the right point. It doesn't look like Melrose kept it in. It doesn't make any difference now as it's knocked off his stick. And the Jets are really flying out here so far tonight. Drop pass for Campbell. Scott moves it ahead. Taken away by Hogebaum. He's turned around. We're going to get a penalty coming up here. And the Red Wings will get the first power play opportunity tonight.
Drew Druin, Larry, I believe. Bill Hogebaum, of course, now has not played in the last 2 games that the Red Wings have played. And I know John Hamill was hurt, and Hoagie's back in the lineup tonight. But I know if he hadn't been hooked down on that play, he'd have been in on goal to have a real good shot. Here we're going to see it on the replay, where Druin loses the puck, and Hoagie right there, Johnny on the spot, picks it up. And as he goes to break over and go through, Druin just puts the stick under the arm and hooks him down. And the Red Wings will have a chance to get back into the game with the 2-minute power play.
11:27 left in the first period. The time of the penalty, 8:33. Our period number 1, that's the first penalty of the night. McCourt on the right. Drives it around the boards to LeBrotten. LeBrotten taps it in behind, thrown around the right side, kept in by McCourt. Returns it to Nedomansky. Mahovlich behind. Mahovlich centering pass is shot. Ray Blyson. And a fine centering pass, and it's a 1-1 hockey game.
We were seeing on the replay, Peter Mahovlich makes a real good play from the right side. We don't see Larson. He's out of our picture now, and there you see him coming in, and he takes a shot and beats Gary Smith high on the short side. But a real smart play by Pete Mahovlich. Here he is in back of the net to the left of Gary Smith. Of course, everybody got their back to Larson, and we'll see him now as he sneaks in behind the Winnipeg defenseman coming over there. Here he is, come in on the short side and flips it up high over top of Smith to tie the game at 1-1. But a real great play by Peter Mahovlich.
Time of the goal, 8:55, a power play goal, with assists going to Mahovlich and to Nedomansky. Here comes McCourt. McCourt to LeBronson. His shot is knocked away, and Smith steers it to the far wing. Huber on the right. Drives it off the boards. Smith sweeps it back. LeBronson picks it up in the corner. Gets it out to the left point. Korn drives it back to the corner. Comes around behind. Nedomansky returns it now to LeBronson. LeBronson tried to center. He had McCourt right on the slot, but couldn't get it to him. Now it comes all the way out to center and back into the Red Wings' end. Jolly touches the puck and we get the icing, so we'll go back to the other end for the upcoming faceoff.
Well, it didn't take the Wings long to capitalize on that power play, Larry. Kind of a costly penalty for Drouin and the Winnipeg Jets, but Big Pete Mahovlich really makes things happen when he's out there, and boy, a real heads-up play by him to catch Larson coming in behind the Winnipeg defenseman, and boom, the next thing you know, it's in the net the way Larson can fire it.
That was a fine pass. It's sometimes tough to get that pass through to the opposite side, isn't it?
It sure is, with all the bodies out there in front of the net. Of course, the Winnipeg team forming the box and trying to keep the Detroit players outside, but Larson very alertly slipped in behind them.
Smith throws it to the near side. Amadeo is pinned by Huber.
Detroit players outside, but Larson very alertly slipped in behind them.
Smith throws it to the near side. Amadeo is pinned by Huber. Puck picked up by Schubert. And goes in behind, taken by Ron Wilson. Taken away from him by the Red Wings, Dennis Sobchuk. Goes to the corner, ball on there by a pair, and we'll have a face-off to the right of the goaltender, Gary Smith.
Dennis Sobchuk, we see him on the screen now, has not played in every game the Wings have had, but when he's played, Larry's played very well. Real hustler, and kind of like LeBratton, only he's a little bit bigger, but he can really motor too and make the other players take penalties as a result of pulling them down.
Puck picked up by Ron Wilson. Gets it out on the near side to Lukowicz. Thrown back in. Taken there by Norwich. Out along the far side. Comes out to center ice. The race is on. Here's 2-on-1. Lukowicz coming down the slot. The pass didn't get there in time, however, as Sobchuk fired it to the far boards. The Jets were really winging once again. Shot back into the Detroit end. Rutherford gives it to Huber. Overskates the puck. Picked up by Amadeo. Centering pass knocked away by Sobchuk. Drives it against the boards. Hogebaum trying to get it out to center. Does. And Wilson picks it up there for the Jets. Wilson tried to get it to Lukowicz. Knocked away by Paul Woods. Picked up by Jolly. Jolly to the far wing. Huber with a board pass ahead on the left. Out comes to Woods. Woods with a pass intercepted nicely. He had a man on the left wing. That was Sobchuk coming roaring in, but the pass was intercepted in the slot. Now Woods comes back to intercept on his own. Brings it up, tries to skate past Wilson. Wilson picks up the loose puck. Wilson lobs it high into the air, a bouncing puck. That's a tough play for a goaltender. It can take that big hop right over the stick. Rutherford made the stop. Polonich picks it up. Larson coming in onside, and the puck is knocked off his stick. Taken by Moffat, and he drives it back into the Red Wing end. Rutherford leaves it there. Brought up the ice by Korn, then he drops it back to Larson. Larson shoots one from the red line. A stick save made by Gary Smith. Thrown to the far side by Campbell. Now the Jets coming back up the ice. Fired into the corner by Mann. Rutherford behind the net for Larson. Larson almost had it knocked off his stick and into the net by Mann. The Jets control it in the Red Wings end. Raked out to the blue line. Campbell winding up. Moving in. Tees it up. Shoot. Good save made by Rutherford, and he covers it up. So the score stays at 1-1 with 8 minutes and 4 seconds left in the first period. But the Jets have dominated this first 20 minutes.
Well, another defensive lapse. Reed Larson maybe should have just thrown the puck around the boards to his left winger, but instead he tried to bring it out in front of the net, and there was 2 Jets there, and it hit a leg, and the next thing you know, people are all over the ice, and Winnipeg gets a good opportunity on the goal. But another example of just not really bearing down in their own zone, and the Wings are going to have to work on that.
Now let's take a look at that replay on the nice save made by Jimmy Rutherford.
Here's the shot from the point. coming from the Polonich tries to go out and block it. A good move here. I think it's Campbell goes around Polonich, and Jimmy Rutherford, a good save from about 30 feet out.
Here come the Red Wings as Dale McCourt tries to get it ahead of Netomansky, but it's stopped at the red line by Amadeo, and it's shot back into the Red Wings' end. Rutherford has to make a save, leaves it for Larson. Larson with a bad pass. Here's Lindstrom with a shot. Bouncing around. Sullivan, out it comes to the blue line, and a shot by Cameron is knocked away. Larson tries to get it to LeBron. It's still in the Red Wings' end. The shot sails wide to the right. Off Lindstrom's stick, comes out to the right point, kept in by Cameron, goes to the corner, and Long picks it up. The forechecking here, coupled with a bad passing, has really caused the Red Wings some misery. Larson finally clears it out, and a derisive cheer goes up from the fans here at Olympia. Larson has it knocked off his stick. McCourt finally gets it back to Netomansky off the Long. Out to Big Ned. Netomansky trying to stick handle past the man, but can't do it. Shot into the Jets' end, picked up there by Cameron. Cameron ahead now to Lindstrom. Taken away by McCourt. Huber in his own end. Huber gives it to Long. Long fires one high off the glass from the red line, and it falls on top of the net, then comes back down onto the ice. Lebrotten scrapping for it. It comes loose in the corner, and it's taken there by Peter Sullivan of the Jets. Sullivan shoots it to the far side. Kept in by LeBrotten. Goes to the corner. McCourt going in, along with Willie Lindstrom. Now it comes out to center ice and will roll back into the Red Wings' end. And we'll get an icing call here. Nope, it's waved off as Hubert picks up the puck. Hubert moves it off now to Greg Jolly. Jolly into the Jets' end. Goes to the right side. Into the corner he goes, along with Schubert. Out it comes along the left side, picked up by the Jets' Stamler, and we've got an offside at the blue line. Well, we've got some college basketball coming up tomorrow night. We hope you'll be able to join Steve Grody and yours truly as we'll be coming to you from Genesee Fieldhouse in East Lansing, Michigan, with a Long Beach State-Michigan State basketball game that's tomorrow night live on TV beginning at 8 o'clock. We hope you'll be able to join us. Should be a good ball game. Here at Olympia this evening, we have a 1-1 tie with 5 minutes 58 seconds left in the opening period of action between the Winnipeg Jets and the Detroit Red Wings as the Jets try for a repeat of an earlier 5-1 victory. 5-1 victory over this Jet club.
Well, you know, Larry, the Wings have made a couple of mistakes in their own zone, and fortunately for them, it's only cost them one goal up to this point. But, you know, we got to give Winnipeg some credit. They have forechecked and really hustled and forced some of those mistakes on the part of the Red Wings. So, you know, they just cannot take this team lightly. There's some pretty good hockey players out there for Winnipeg. I think it shows by the standings. They're third place in the Smythe Division.
Puck back into the Red Wings' end. Huber moves it to the far side. Out it comes to Mahovlich. Mahovlich is forced back into his own zone by Druin and brings it up the ice now, and it's knocked away at the blue line. And Druin drives it in. Rutherford leaves it behind the net now for Greg Jolly. And it goes to the far side, picked up there by Earl Thompson. Out it comes to Huber on the right. Return pass to Jolly, broken up. Stamler brings it all the way out and then back in, and Druin was still in the zone. So we'll have an offside coming up. And we've got a little conversation going on now between Foligno and I didn't get the
Stamler, Larry. Lawrence Stamler took a swipe at Willie Huber just a couple of seconds before as the play was in front of the Detroit net, and Huber, of course, went over to let him know that that's not the way it's supposed to be done out there. We might see on the replay, we'll see Huber standing there, and Stamler comes in behind him right about here. Huber gives him a stick a little bit, and there's the swipe. Although not in a dangerous spot, he hit him in the rear end, but Huber went over and just let him know that he's around and not to be swinging the stick like that out there.
I think the intent was there. The location was probably fortunate for Huber. We have 5:24 left in the first period. It's still a 1-1 hockey game. Campbell for the Jets moves to the far side and shot into the Red Wing end, taken by Huber. To Foligno. Foligno tries to get it out to Mahovlich, deflected, and Jolly has to go after it. Thompson gets it ahead now to Foligno on right wing. Foligno has the goaltender pulled out. It's cast band by Thompson. Mahovlich shot it wide, and a shot by Huber goes wide and comes all the way out to center. They had Gary Smith out of the goal mouth and could not turn on the light. Here comes Jolly, centering pass. Foligno shoots it over the top of the net. Now Mahovlich along the far boards, and the puck comes out to center. Red Wings seem to be picking it up a little bit right now. Mahovlich, however, loses the puck to Wilson. Wilson takes the right side. He's got Lukowicz. He couldn't get a pass to him, however. Now it goes to Lukowicz. Return pass out front. A shot by Marsh is knocked away, and we've got an interference call coming up. Rutherford was decked in the melee around the goal mouth and was a little bit slow in getting up.
Well, some real action on that play by Winnipeg after Mahovlich had lost the puck. Winnipeg actually come in on a 2-on-1 and a real good play by Willie Huber to prevent the pass from coming out to the open man in front of the net, but the puck laid there, and then Foligno, I believe, came in and give a cross-check to the Winnipeg player and knocked him into Rutherford and back into the goalpost, but I think Jimmy, Lefty Wilson there checking with Jimmy, I think he's okay.
Now, Foligno has gone for 2 minutes for interference. The time of the penalty is 15:32 of the first period. Might take another look at it, Mickey.
Here we see on the replay the Winnipeg 2-on-1 with Willie Huber, and Huber here down with the stick and makes a real good play. That pass comes out. It's a 2-1 hockey game, and here's where Foligno comes in and gives number 14 for Winnipeg a shot, and he's going to pay the price, 2-minute penalty.
This is the first power play opportunity of the night for the Winnipeg Jets. The Red Wings have had one power play and made it pay off. A shot and a score from the left point by Willie Lindstrom. Looked like Rutherford was going to make the save.
Well, I think what happened here, Larry, is that puck dropped on him. You could tell the way Jimmy went after it. We might catch it on a replay right off the faceoff. It sure didn't take him long. The puck right back to the left point. The shot by Lindstrom, you probably won't see it here in the replay, but the way Jimmy went down, trying to grab it with his trapper, I think the puck dropped down and caught him in the bottom of the hand and up into the net. So kind of a tricky shot by Lindstrom, and 2-1 Winnipeg.
Well, it didn't take the Jets long to score their power play goal. Each team has had one power play opportunity, and each team has scored a goal on that power play opportunity. So it's 2-1. The Red Wings are trailing again by a goal. Schubert fires to the far side and gets a return pass. Schubert now ahead to Hall, knocked away by Paul Woods. Woods pinned against the board by Norwich. Now the puck comes free, picked up by Sullivan. Sullivan behind his own net. Starts it up the right wing. Penalty against Paul Woods. A delayed penalty, and this is kind of a shaky call here, Mickey. We'll take another look in the replay, but it looked as though Willie Lindstrom took the old swan dive.
Well, you know, I think here's a case of Paul Woods, of course, very persistent checking, and I think Lindstrom just stepped on his stick, which really all the referee is looking for is to see the player dump, but if he'd have seen what happened, I don't think he would have called that play. With Woody, of course, trying to make the check and getting his stick in the road, I don't think he really dumped him up, tripped him up, but he just stepped on the stick and down he went, of course, and referee right on the spot and calls a 2-minute tripping penalty.
What's off at 16-17 for tripping, and we'll take another look at the penalty.
Here's Woods right here. Well, he did kind of get the stick in on his skate. I'm wrong. He did not step on his stick.
Well, you could lie and I'd swear to it. I didn't think he got that much of him. The assist on the goal by Lindstrom to Hall and Sullivan at the 15:36 mark. The second period to give the Jets a 2-1 lead.
I will go along with you, though, Larry. I think that Lindstrom did do a good job of Oscaring it. I think we might send him to Hollywood for a week or two. But anyway, Woods did get the stick onto his skate and dumped him, and that's all that counted for a 2-minute penalty.
The second power play opportunity is in progress now. You take a look at Tom McVie, the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. We have 3:30 left in the first period. And 1:43 left in the Jets power play. Dale McCourt picks it up, takes it into the Jets' end, gets a shot away, it's deflected into the corner, comes out to Jimmy Mann. Now comes out to center ice as the Jets move down the ice quickly. Sullivan takes it to the right side. Sullivan with a pass off the man, deflected to the left. Goes into the corner. McCourt skates in, being chased by Sullivan. Takes it to the far side, tries to clear it out. Kept in at the right point by Norwich. Norwich lines up, feeds a pass to the right side. Centering pass taken by Thompson. Thompson bumped off the puck by Norwich. Thompson trying to rake it out. Finally drops it back to Larson. Now Thompson circling back in his own end with 1 minute of power play time left for the Jets. Larson drives it off the boards and the length of the ice. Now the Jets bringing it back up the ice. Left wing pass to Lindstrom. Lindstrom being bothered by Mahavlich. Sends it back out to the left point. Kept in there. Lindstrom moves it off to the right side. On the right boards now, Wilson. Wilson tried to get it across to Lukowicz. Intercepted. Now it comes out a little bit too far for Mahavlich to handle. And it's picked up by Norwich. Norwich comes out the left side. Moves it ahead. On the right to Wilson. Wilson setting it up. Drops it back behind the net to Mann. Mann comes to the left side. Turned around by Long. Centering pass picked up by Mahavlich. Mahavlich has Hogebaum on the left. Brings it into the zone. Hogebaum drops it back to Mahavlich. Pete drives it behind the net around to the near side. That's cleared out right on the stick of Larson. And the power play time has expired. There's a shot by Wood. It sails wide to the right. Larson picks it up at center, goes back to his own end. Moves it to Jolly. Out to Mahavlich, knocked off his stick, picked up by Wilson. Wilson into the zone. Goes to the right. Moves it back inside. A shot knocked down by Rutherford. Popped up into the air. Lukowicz tried to swat it in with his left hand. And it's picked up by Polonich. Out it comes to Wilson, to Woods. Back to Polonich. Polonich with a shot, knocked away by Smith. Polonich goes to the boards along with Scott Campbell. And we've got a whistle. We're going to have a penalty coming up for high sticking on Campbell. So the Red Wings will have the power play opportunity. With 58 seconds left in the first period.
You know, Larry, that play again did not look that dangerous. I really didn't even see the stick get up that much, but maybe a little bit of a makeup on Wicks's part. He did get the stick. Of course, Dennis, rather a little fella, doesn't take much to get the stick up over his shoulder, and I think he may be going out for high sticking.
We'll take another look at the penalty and see how it all happened.
Here we are here, and you can see he's got the stick up over the shoulder and onto the side of the head of Polonich, and Wicks right on the spot to call it. So the Red Wings, with only 58 seconds left in the first period, will have a power play.
Time of the penalty, 19:02. Red Wings trailing 2-1. As we move toward the close of the first period. Nenomansky out to McCourt, teeing it up, lets it go, and a stick save made by Smith. Larson keeps it in on the left side, bumped off the puck, however. Druin chases it to the corner along with the Red Wings' Errol Thompson, and it's jammed up against the boards.
Unfortunately for the Wings, Larry, here, the good opportunity for them with the power play, but you know, right in the middle of a 2-minute call, you get only 58 seconds left in the period, and usually it takes you the first minute of that power play to get in the other team's zone, get set up, and get everybody in position to get a real good opportunity on goal. So really what we got here, unless they score, is 2 1-minute power plays.
Just 38 seconds left in the first period. McCourt's shot is turned away by Smith. Larson keeps it in. Moves it to Nenomansky. 27 seconds left in the period. Return pass to Nenomansky. His shot is covered up by Smith.
I don't think Ned got the wood on that, Larry. Real good play between Nenomansky and McCourt, and or it was maybe Foligno back there. Nenomansky tried to let the shot go real quickly, and Smith was already down. Here's Nenomansky breaking for the front of the net, and I guess Danny LeBratton back there dumps it out in front. A good opportunity, but I think Ned kind of half-fanned on the shot, and it rolled weakly to Smith, who covered up.
Just 23 seconds left in the first period. Face off to the right of Gary Smith. Picked up by the Jets. Cameron throws it around the boards. McCourt tries to keep it in and can't do it. So we have 14 seconds left as Larson picks it up behind his own net. Time for one more quick rush if they could get it moving. Now with just 8 seconds, pass nearly intercepted by Moffitt. McCourt picks it up with 3 seconds left, and Nedomansky 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's the end of the first period. The score is the Winnipeg Jets 2 and the Detroit Red Wings 1, and the Wings will have 1 minute and 2 seconds of power play time remaining when the second period begins. The Jets open the scoring with just 55 seconds gone. An unassisted goal by Lukowicz, his 8th goal of the season. Then Larson tied the game with a power play goal for the Red Wings at 8:55. Assist going to Vahavlich and Nedomansky. It stayed that way until Lindstrom drilled in a power play goal at 15:36. Assist going to Hull and Sullivan to make the score 2-1. That was Lindstrom's 7th goal of the season. The penalties in the first period. Druin went off at 8:33 for hooking for the Jets. Then Foligno of the Red Wings went off at 15:32 for interference. Paul Woods took a trip to the penalty box at 16:17 for tripping, and then Campbell went off with just 58 seconds left in the first period for high sticking. So we have a 2-1 hockey game. The Detroit Red Wings trailing the Winnipeg Jets after 20 minutes of hockey action here at Olympia, Detroit. Jets sort of dominated the action in the first period, but right now we're going to join ex-Beatle George Harrison as he performs in sports that you'll be seeing here on TV through the balance of the week. Of course, we'll be in East Lansing tomorrow evening for college basketball as Michigan State takes on Long Beach State. Steve Grody will be joining us there for an 8 o'clock airtime live on TV. We hope you'll be able to join us for all of the action. Then on Saturday evening from the University of Detroit's Callahan Hall, the Titans will play host to the Iowa Hawkeyes in a non-conference game, and we'll be on the air with a telecast of that one also here on TV. So we hope you'll be able to join us for all of the college basketball action for the balance of the season. It's 2-1. The Winnipeg Jets leading the Detroit Red Wings after one period of play here at Olympia. The game that saw the Winnipeg Jets dominate the first period of action. Seemed like the Red Wings are having a lot of difficulty getting the puck out of their own end due to a couple of reasons. Outstanding forechecking by the Winnipeg Jets and some rather errant passing, and sometimes passing that borders on the careless, particularly leading to the first goal of the game. Well, Al Coates does a lot of things. He's the PR director for the Red Wings. Here he is.
I feel fortunate that I'm in hockey in any capacity because it's sort of been a lifelong dream of mine, maybe to have played in the National League and didn't have the capability of playing in it. So, yeah, I really care about my job. It's fascinating.
Something goes wrong. I'm the first to admit it. I'm the first to admit it.
Al Coates, business administration graduate, teacher in Bowmanville, coach of the Dutch national junior hockey team, Pete Rose lookalike, road manager for the London Lions in Wembley, and now Detroit. And for Al, things seem right.
I can't get used to something so right. Something so right.
Well, that's all right. We're gonna take the charter in the morning, right? Rather than going after the game. We can't get out after the game.
Al's duties are many, varied, and interesting. And perhaps his most important quality, he always seems willing and friendly. Whether conducting meetings, speaking to the press, or greeting associates, the impression he gives is one of caring and concern, both for his job and for the people he represents.
I spend my time on Sunday on the plane going to Quebec. I perform a function within this organization now, and I hope that I do a good job at it. I hope that it's recognized, and I like the organization. There's a great bunch of people. I think the world of our owner, Bruce Norris. We do anything for him, and the one thing that he wants more than anything else, and the one thing that we all want is to make this a much better hockey club and get recognition around the league as being one of the top teams in the National Hockey League. I know that's what Ted, Bobby, and everybody's striving for.
And there's a certain shyness about the quiet man from Detroit.
I might be a little bit shy, but I really like to meet people who have some humility. I think of myself that way a little bit. I like to talk to people, and I certainly don't want to give anybody the impression that I'm better than they are, because I'm not. So much of my time at home is spent in planning stages, to go on the road or to get things done here. We have community that we have to serve in Detroit, and Windsor, and there's a lot of work involved with that. And on the road, it's basically getting from one place to another, and it's serving the needs possibly of the players or Ted and Bob, media from other cities or whatever. It's a lot of detail work that I can do quickly, and whereas at home I have to take time and work things out, plan things.
When something goes wrong, I'm the first to admit it. I'm the first to admit it. The last one to know. When something goes right, oh, it's likely to lose me. It's apt to confuse me because it's such an unusual sight. Oh, I swear I can't get used to something so right. Something so right.
We all have embarrassing moments, and for me, and as in the public life or dealing with people on a day-to-day basis, forgetting names is very embarrassing for me. When I introduce to somebody, and it could be anybody, it could be the mayor of Detroit or something, and 2 minutes later I can't remember the guy's name. I find that very embarrassing, and it's something I shouldn't do in a position of my kind. I find it relatively easy to relate to the players. I think that they like me in most cases, and it makes my job an awful lot easier if they do. I think I would have the world's worst job if they didn't like me, because I just wouldn't be able to get everything done if they didn't respect me or like me.
Another road trip for the Wings, another set of needs to attend to, and another flight, giving Al the chance to reflect.
Well, if I left hockey tomorrow, whether I was fired or whatever, I suppose that what I would want people to think of me as being a good guy, someone who worked very hard at his job, maybe question why I got fired, because they thought I did a good job. And I'd like a lot of people to offer me jobs, if I should happen to leave tomorrow.
Can't get used to something so right. Something so right.
It's 2-1. The Winnipeg Jets leading the Detroit Red Wings after one period of play here at Olympia Stadium. The Jets having the big edge in the shots on goal tonight. They had the big edge on performance on the ice for the first 20 minutes of play. We'll be looking at some of the highlights in just a moment or two from that first period. And a lot of the fans were not even in their seats when this first goal was scored, Mickey, as a bad pass resulted in the Winnipeg Jets jumping out to a quick 1-0 lead over the Detroit Red Wings, and we'll be seeing that goal here in just a moment or two.
Well, the goal, Larry, came at the 55-second mark of the first period, and as you say, people had not even gotten settled in yet, and I think in that case the Red Wings, but I think we're not gonna see that first goal. I think we're gonna go right to Larson's goal, which tied the game up. I think here, we'll see it in a minute. Well, we'll wait for that one. We'll get back to the first one. Anyway, McCourt coming out of his own zone. Anyway, let's start with number one. We'll talk about the first goal. Dale McCourt made a bad pass in his own zone, dumped it across ice, which is a cardinal sin for anybody in their own zone to throw the puck across. And sure enough, Lukowicz from Winnipeg was right Johnny on the spot, and he wasted no time in letting the shot go and beat Jimmy Rutherford cleanly. Came at the 55-second mark and put Winnipeg out in front 1-0. On the second goal, of course, power play goal, Reed Larson's 6th goal of the year. A real heads-up play by Peter Mahavlich. He was up to Gary Smith's left down in the corner. He caught the Winnipeg defenseman all looking towards him, and Reed Larson snuck in behind him and took the pass from Mahavlich and banged it home to tie the game up at 1-1. And then came the Winnipeg second goal to put them up 2-1. Another mistake by the Detroit defense. Larson again this time tried to carry the puck out of his zone. He came around the net, and instead of throwing the puck around the boards, he tried to slip out in front with it. 2 Winnipeg defenders were there, and the puck got knocked loose, and then bang, 2-1 hockey game. We saw 2 instances of the Winnipeg goals, 2 defensive mistakes by the Wings, and I know that they have been working on these type of things, and I'm sure Bobby Crom not too happy about the goals that Winnipeg scored, but The Wings, of course, I think took Winnipeg coming into the start of this game a little bit lightly, and I'm sure that they're being told about it here after the first period, and I think you're going to see a different Red Wing hockey team in the second period.
Mickey, the thing that amazes me, and I'm not pointing the finger to anybody, but the thing that amazes me is some of the things that we saw in the first period, particularly the pass right in front of the goal mouth, cross-rink pass, is a rather fundamental no-no, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Why does it happen on this level?
Well, I guess it's hard to understand, but when the game looks a lot easier up here than it is down on the ice. You get 10 big men out there, and you don't see the openings and the spaces. And sometimes, you'll see a player make a pass right onto the stick of another of the opposing player's team's player, and you wonder how in the heck could he ever do that? But sometimes you just get it's almost like a blackout. You just don't see, or one player's hiding behind another, and everything happens so fast. When the game's going on, it's split-second action, and next thing you know, your player that you mean to pass the puck to has disappeared and gone somewhere else, and bang, the other player is there, and as a result, you get an opportunity, or in the first goal by Winnipeg, a goal against you. But it looks so easy from up here, but actually it's not. But the thing that they try to teach is you don't want to take those chances. You don't want to let that thing happen out there, so you try to avoid throwing the puck cross ice in your own zone. You want to make sure you gain the zone. This is what the coaches try to preach, no matter who it is back there, even Bobby Orr. They try to gain their own blue line to get the puck out of their own end and out of trouble. And as we saw on the goal, Dale just errantly let the pass go, and bang, Lukowicz was there. And of course, scoring 65 goals last year, he's pretty familiar with the net, so he sure made no mistake on the goal.
What you're really saying is that it's not as easy as it looks up here. Right?
That's for sure. But
well, I think that's true with every sport. A spectator, a broadcaster, a writer, whoever is sitting up observing what's going on. You get a completely different perspective, of course, than you do when you're down on the playing field or the court or the ice surface or whatever. Here's the scoring of the first period. We just went through that. Winnipeg opened it up, Detroit tied it, and then Winnipeg took a 2-1 lead on a power play goal. Winnipeg outshot Detroit 13-8 in the first period of play. But it is a lot different perspective, and you see a lot of coaches going up from time to time upstairs to look down. They see things a little different than they do from the player's bench or from the coaching sidelines.
Well, it's a funny thing. The coaches, in a lot of cases, see very little of the hockey game. When they got players up standing on the bench in front of them and changing, that's why they have spotters now in hockey, like they do in football. The coach probably has the worst seat in the house. He doesn't get to enjoy the game whatsoever. And, they get the big guys standing up, going on the ice, and they miss a lot of plays. And that's why they've got to turn around and have spotters and ask them in between periods and after games, what happened on certain plays. And But
is that why officials miss it too?
Well, they're not supposed to miss them, and you can never argue with an official because they're always right. But they've always got the last call on you, so you have to be careful the way you handle them.
Well, we're about ready to go. The Red Wings will have 1 minute and 2 seconds of power play time remaining as we start period number 2 here at Olympia, with the Jets leading it by a score of 2-1. Cameron picking up the loose puck, tries to clear it out. McCourt can't keep it in. Moffat fires it out. Netamansky is all the way behind his own net, being chased by Druin. Netamansky is forced back by Moffat. McCourt can't handle it. Now Thompson on the near side brings it to center, and Moffat bangs him against the boards. Knocked away by Druin, picked up by McCourt. Now it comes to Thompson with a shot and a save made by Gary Smith, and he hung on. Got a lot on that shot. You could hear it pop all the way up here.
Well, Thompson can really fire the puck. Case like that, I think he just, Smitty holds the puck, gets a face-off, which is to Detroit's advantage here with the man advantage. But Thompson had a good opportunity coming in on the left side. Not a real dangerous chance, but you never know. And one thing that Thompson does, he lets the puck go every time he gets a chance and lets it go on the net if possible.
Joran and Mahovlich with a face-off to the right of Gary Smith. 22 seconds of power play time remaining. Kept in at the right point. Tapped along the far boards. Foligno has to chase it in the corner along with Schubert. And now it comes the length of the ice. And that'll just about kill off the remaining power play time for the Wings. The court back to Larson. And now the Jets are back at full strength. Buck at center ice, wafted back into the Red Wing end by Wilson. Larson and Lukowich in the corner, jam it up there, and we'll have a face-off coming up to the right. Jimmy Rutherford.
Well, Detroit, Larry's going to really have to, I think, get going here. And, the Winnipeg Jets, of course, trying to get Detroit to play their type of hockey game. And so far, they've been successful at that. But I think Detroit, I'm sure, got the words of wisdom from Bobby Crom in between the first period that they're going to have to get up and start skating and make things happen on their part. And I think if they do, we'll see it right away. Detroit definitely has to force Winnipeg to make some mistakes like Winnipeg has done to them so far in the first period.
Klonich and Wilson with a face-off. Then he wins it. Klonich brings it out and drills it in. Comes all the way to the near side. Skating in after it, Peter Marsh of the Jets digs it out. Still in the corner with Hicks. Puck comes out along the blue line and comes out to center. And Lukowich goes sailing as he went after the puck. He's looking around wondering why there wasn't a call there, but there was none. And the puck is controlled by Barry Long. Long gives it to Larson. Correction, that was Jimmy Korn rather than Reed. Now Woods to the near side to Korn. Red Wings being forced back in their own end again. Out it comes to Woods. Woods into the zone, trying to split to the fence. He got through, he shot, he scores! Great play by Paul Woods. This game is tied at 2-2.
What we're seeing on the replay here, the pass coming from Korn up to Paul Woods, almost a replay of the first goal. Again, Paul Woods, like LeBratton, split the defense. Winnipeg players did not really get Woods fully. The puck slid through, and Paul very alertly jumped on it, and Smitty already down on his knees, had no chances. Woody slid it along the ice and beat him on the far side. Here we see it again. Paul just refusing to go down with the Winnipeg defenseman all over him, and he just slides it underneath Smith's glove to tie the game at 2-2.
Korn and Long get the assist. The tying goal coming at 2:05 of the second period. Bolduc picks up the puck. Closes it near the blue line, and Norwich collects it off the left now to Schubert. Schubert drives it into the Red Wing end. Picked up there by Greg Jolly. Hot shot out to center ice on Sullivan's stick. Sullivan fires it back in. Now Jolly goes back in the corner, takes it behind the net. Far side to Huber. Huber trying to get it out. Intercepted at center by Schubert. Dumped in on the right side. Jolly picks it up. Jolly brings it up the ice. Gives it to Sobchuk. Over the right to Huber. Huber tries to get one through the Bolduc, knocked down near the blue line. Jolly puts it back in, but it's picked up by Schubert. Schubert, a hit on the far side to Hall. Back it comes to Lindstrom. Lindstrom ahead, intended for Sullivan, and it's cleared out by Hogebaum. Now Norwich. Norwich with the lead pass to Sullivan. He was in about 10 feet offside. Good play, but illegal.
Well, a little bit offside. The linesman, again, getting back to the linesman and the referee, Larry, they don't miss too many plays. They're human. They make a few mistakes like everybody else, but overall, you take about a 350-game schedule that these people work. They do a great job out there, and it's pretty hard to argue with.
It's impossible.
It is impossible.
We have 16:50 left in the second period. The game is tied at 2-2. The Jets led it 2-1 after the first 20 minutes. The Red Wings came back on a fine play by Paul Woods to tie it early here in the second period. Dale McCourt is in for the face-off with Jude Druitt. He'll be coming up momentarily. McCourt with 10 goals and 13 assists for the season, a total of 23 points. Shot into the Red Wing end. Stopped by Rutherford, leaves it behind for Long. Long still with it. Now lobs it out to center ice. A bouncing puck will go into the Jets' end. Taken there by Campbell. McCourt with him. Campbell sweeps it along the near board. Lukowich knocked down from behind by Korn. Korn comes up with a puck, gives it to McCourt. McCourt centering pass, knocked away. Nenomansky winds up. His shot is knocked high, and behind it goes. Now on the near side, Campbell. Campbell with McCourt. Dale doing a good job forechecking here. Druin on the far side now to Stamler. Stamler lobs it up into the air. A bouncing puck now rolling and sliding along into the Red Wing end. LeBrotten to the far side to Long to Nedomansky. Nedomansky shoves it ahead. Picked up by LeBrotten. LeBrotten flying as he comes into the zone. Tries to get through, and it's knocked away nicely by Al Cameron. Goes in behind. Raked out by Lukowich. Lukowich gets to the far side to Stamler. Stamler's pass intercepted by McCourt. McCourt has it knocked away and picked up by the Jets. Here comes Druin. Druin off to the left side. A shot off the stick of Stamler is kicked away by Rutherford. Goes in behind and chased to the corner by the Red Wings' Jim Korn. He's jammed up there by Druin, and we'll have a face-off to the left of Jimmy Rutherford.
You know, a goal like Paul Wood's, Larry, certainly just from the effort involved is enough to spark a team up. And, you know, this guy never stops working, always hustling, and not a big goal scorer, but when you see him make a play like that and split that defense, as we were talking about earlier, it really inspires everybody else.
Belmore College basketball coming up live from Joe Louis Arena next Thursday night. That's the 12th of December at 8 o'clock as the Michigan Wolverines take on the University of Detroit Titans. Live here on TV. We hope you'll be able to join us as the Wolverines and Titans square off. Jimmy Rutherford in goal for the Red Wings tonight, and on the other end his counterpart Gary Smith. Face off to the left of Jimmy. Blues picked up by the Red Wings. Out it comes to Foligno. Foligno 1-on-2. Takes it to the right wing. He's got Jolly cruising in, but it's knocked away out to Huber. Huber takes a whack at it. Mahovlich intercepts, winds up, shoots, and a tough save made by Gary Smith, and he holds on.
Here we see in the replay, Pete Mahovlich a little deeper out inside the slot, and a good shot, but no screen shot or deflections or anything, and Gary Smith, no problem in making the save. There's one thing about Smith, Larry, he's always down, if you notice, before the puck is even shot, and the Wings should be picking this up and trying to get it up high on him.
A backhander by Huber sails wide, goes into the corner. Mahovlich goes in, along with Melrose, comes out to the point. Jolly shot knocked down, picked up by Moffett. Moffett with a pass intended for man, broken up nicely by Greg Jolly at the blue line. Now back in the Jets end, it comes out to center to Melrose. Melrose drives it back into the Red Wing end. Rutherford leaves it for Jolly. Jolly has man coming up from behind, bumps him off. Foligno gets it out to Thompson. Thompson ahead to Foligno on right wing. He's got Mahovlich on the left. Foligno moving in, but he loses the puck as Barsuk came in and broke up the play. Pass intended for man too long, taken by Jolly. Gives it to Huber, returns to Greg. Jolly's pass intended for Foligno. Foligno bumped away by Schubert. They both go to the corner. Puck is still loose. Mahovlich trying to rake it out. It's sent to the far boards. Hubert can't keep it in. Hubert puts a pretty good bump on Lasuk, and he goes down. Now shot back into the Jets end. We'll get an icing call coming up here against the Detroit Red Wings.
You know, Larry, I'd like to apologize to the viewers. We had a little bit of a technical problem on the replays. I wasn't getting them on my monitor, and I didn't think they were getting to see them, but hopefully they saw them all okay and got the description to follow up a little bit late. Better late than never.
I think we had a wrong line running up to our monitor here was the problem. We couldn't see what our viewers at home were seeing. 13:57 left in the second period. This game is tied at 2-2. Barry Long picks it up from the face-off. Now Long starts out the left side. Ahead it comes to Hogebaum. Hogebaum's pass to the right to Sobchuk. Has it knocked away. Sobchuk throws it to the near side. Long winds up, shoots, deflected just wide to the right off the stick of Sobchuk. Now it comes to the corner. Bolduc. Sobchuk. And Bobby Hall picks it up. Gives it to Campbell. 3-on-2, 4-on-3. Right down the middle. Hall and a quick save by Rutherford on the Golden Jets. Now we go the other way. This is Reed Larson, 4-on-3. He drives it off the glass behind the net. Bolduc goes to the corner. Picked up by Hogebaum. Hogebaum comes flying into Lindstrom. Well, Rutherford just came up with a big save on Hull, and here he comes again. But Bobby is dropping it back now. Campbell moving in with a shot. He hit the crossbar. Maybe it hit Jimmy Rutherford in the mask. It looked from here.
I think maybe it did, Larry.
It did.
You know, at first I thought it might have hit him on the throat area, but I think it caught him right in the square in the mask. He was down again too before the shot came, but fortunately for the new masks and the durability of the material, Jimmy's not injured. But we'll see it on the replay. A great play. Oh, here's the replay of Bobby Hull coming in, and Rutherford making a great stop on him, sliding the pads over to the right. Seen a little bit of the old Bobby Hull there. Here's the shot that hit Rutherford by Peter Sullivan. Well, they cut it off early, but I think Jimmy did get hit right in the mask, and but fortunately, that's why he's wearing that thing.
Quick shot from the left side, knocked down. Polonich goes in behind. We have 12:47 left in the second period of a 2-2 hockey game. The Red Wings and the Jets from Olympia. Out it comes to the right side. Huber pass. Bounces off the skate of Hicks, goes in behind. Marsh along the near side. Off of Norwich skate. Out it comes. Jolly with a shot, and a very late save by Gary Smith, and he covers it up.
You know, getting back to that break-in by Bobby Hull, Larry, speaking with Bobby before the game, he is having some shoulder trouble, and he was saying that he's not shooting the puck as well as he should be, and I think we saw an example of it there. He tried to make a deke, which is very uncharacteristic of Bobby Hull. You know, in the old days, he just used to fire that thing, and he went in there and made a deke, and Jimmy Rutherford outguessed him and made a big stop. Here's the replay of the shot that hit Jimmy by Peter Sullivan. There it is, going up. And there it is. I think just hit him just on the lower right-hand side of the mask. And fortunately, if that had been Bobby Hull shooting that thing, I think he might have been down a little longer.
You bet your life. And as it was, quick shot by Woods, covered up for a moment by Smith. Comes out along the near side, kept in by Jolly. In behind, the centering pass intended for Woods, broken up. Polonich battling with Wilson against the boards. Now Woods comes in, thrown to the far side by Cameron. Big check over there, and we're going to get a penalty for charging on Willie Huber. We'll take a look at this, no doubt. I was just about to say on that shot off of Rutherford's mask, it hit the goalpost. It very easily could have deflected in off his mask onto the goalpost and the end of the net. So the Wings were a little bit fortunate.
Well, you know, here, Huber going to get a charging call here, Larry, and I don't know about this call. You know, the puck coming around the boards, I thought, if anything, he might have got interference because Lukowicz had not touched the puck, but, of course, the size of Huber compared to most guys, when he runs into them, it looks like a truck running into a Volkswagen, but Mr. Wicks decided to call him off for it, so the Wings will have to fight off a 2-minute penalty.
Time of the penalty is 7:55. Of the second period, a 2-minute charging penalty against Big Willie. So the Jets are on the power play as Schubert takes it behind his own net. Leaves it for Wilson. Back to Schubert. Ahead to Norwich. Norwich drives it to the corner. Larson skates in along with Ron Wilson. Now Long picks it up. Long lobs it high into the air, and this will go the length of the ice. Gary Smith leaves it there for Norwich. Norwich in turn gets a return pass from Lukowicz. Now Schubert brings it up. Goes into the Wings corner. Larson picks it up behind the net, chases it to the corner. Out it comes to the left point now to Schubert. Over to the right side to Norwich. Norwich along the blue line to Schubert. Schubert winds up, shoots, and it's knocked high into the crowd by Pete Mahovlich.
Here's a shot of the Winnipeg captain, Lars-Erik Schubert, and he was with the Swedish national team, Larry, when I was over on the Moscow trip in 1972 with Team Canada, and he was one of their star players. And decided to come over to Canada, play for the Winnipeg Jets, I believe 4 or 5 years ago when the Jets came into existence. And he's played very, very well for them and one of the mainstays back there on defense.
He had a tough year last year. He missed 71 games because of a torn Achilles tendon. But he's made a pretty good comeback this season. face-off will be to the right of Rutherford with a minute 3 seconds of power play time remaining for the Jets. Lindstrom with the puck in his own end. Lindstrom being bothered by Wood, knocked away by McCourt, but picked up by Sullivan. Now 4-on-3 rush. Sullivan takes it to the left side. Drop pass right on McCourt's stick. McCourt fires it down the ice with 34 seconds of power play time left. Harwich tips it off now on the right side. Gets a return pass from Lukovic. Cameron. Sullivan. Sullivan to the right side. Sullivan to the corner, centering for Hall, but it was knocked away and picked up by Woods. Woods gives to McCourt with 10 seconds of power play time left. Woods in the Jets' end, fires it back toward Barry Long, and just 1 second. And now the power play time has expired, and the Wings are back at full strength. Coming in on the strike. And a great speed, and tucked it in underneath the crossbar, and the Wings lead for the first time tonight, 3-2.
Well, a real, actually, this play made by Reed Larson makes a real good deke here at the blue line. Two Winnipeg defenders snuck the puck through their feet, and it slid across the open side of the net, and there was Nedemansky, Johnny on the spot. Smith not seeing him coming in there, and Big Ned just slid it up over top of Smith and underneath the crossbar, and for the first time tonight, the Wings are out in front 3-2.
Time of the goal, 10 minutes into the second period. That's the 15th goal of the season for Nedemansky, and it came within seconds of the power play expiration for the Jets. Larson and Long getting the assists on the goal. Now the Red Wings bringing it back up the ice. LeBrotten on the left. LeBrotten with a wrist shot. Goes wide and behind. Jolly can't keep it in. Nedemansky digs it up. Nedemansky ahead, and it's knocked away nicely to the near side by Barry Melrose. Now Nedemansky and Melrose along the near boards. Moffat finally gets it, and he shoots it to the far side to Campbell. Brings it to the middle, off to Druin. Druin with a pass to Moffat. A backhander is knocked away. Goes to the corner. Foligno trying to clear it out. It does come to center. Picked up there by Stamler. Now Moffat with it. Moffat drives it in, knocked down by Jolly. Jolly takes it behind his own net. Out skates Druin. Brings it up the middle of the ice. Jolly still with it. Tries to stretch to the fence. Almost got through, but he is ridden off by Campbell. And Moffat throws to the far side, off to Stamler. Stamler eludes Foligno. Stamler takes it into the Red Wings' end. Jolly with him now. Jolly knocks it away and picks it up. Tipped out to center ice by Thompson. Taken by Campbell. Campbell bounces it off Mahavlich, loose on the near side now, and it is controlled by Marsh. Marsh being bothered by Thompson. Finally cleared out to center. Foligno jams it back in, and Campbell picks it up off to Melrose. Melrose off the boards, picked up by Korn. Korn to Thompson, a bouncing puck. Thompson on the left side. He's got Mahavlich sliding down the slot, but can't get it to him now. Centers it too far for Foligno. Kept in a quick shot by the Wings. I believe that's Larson over there, and we've got a penalty coming up. So with 8:01 left in the second period, Barry Melrose goes off the ice, and the Red Wings will have the power play.
He just tied Peter Mahavlich up in knots in front of the Winnipeg net, Larry, and of course Pete's like a big tree when he goes down, and there's not much room for Wicks to miss that kind of a play, but he put the stick between Peter's legs and down on his feet and really spilled him, and Wicks of course caught it, and Detroit now an opportunity to go 2 goals up on this power play.
Time of the penalty is 11:59 of the second period. Melrose going off 2 minutes for tripping. I think you can gradually see, at least this is my opinion, but you can gradually see the Red Wings starting to pick up a little bit of momentum. And I think that effort, you called it when Paul Woods came up with that super effort. individual effort, sort of started picking them up, and it started to come with each passing 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, I think as we pointed out earlier, they realize that they're not playing an easy hockey team, and they've got to bear down and really make things happen out there. And I think in the goal by Paul Woods, I think we saw an example of that. And anytime you see a little guy like Woods going out there and giving it his all, it's certainly got to fire up the other guys on the hockey club. And, you know, here we are. They're up 3-2, and power play now, a chance to go ahead by 2 goals.
Thompson gets it out to Larson, lines up, shoots, stick save by Smith. Thompson in the corner, back out to Larson, back to Thompson. Thompson trying to get it to Polino, and behind him, Huber jams it back, and it's intercepted and cleared out of the zone by the Jets. Now Thompson gives it to Larson. Pass broken up. Mahavlich goes back to his own end. Mahavlich dumps it back to Huber. Out it comes to Larson. His pass intercepted. And there's a whistle at the blue line.
Well, a very lucky call for the Red Wings. Of course, it was offside, and but jeepers, that's 2 passes in a row. They've just let go without looking, and right onto the sticks of the Winnipeg Jets. They're really going to have to be careful of those passes, even though they've got the man advantage at this point.
Well, Moffat was home free, looking for a shorthanded goal, as Melrose continues to be seated in the penalty box and will be there for another minute 26.
You know, the Wings are setting up very well in the Winnipeg zone when they get the puck down there, but they're really having some problems in the center ice area and behind their own blue line getting started.
I have just 2 scores to pass along to you. Vancouver and Pittsburgh are tied at 1-1 in the second period, and Atlanta leading Buffalo 1-0. Quick shot by Nedomansky, turned away by Smith. In the corner, Mahavlich tries to dig it out, finally does. Gets it out to the right point, over to McCourt on the left. Dale winds up, his shot deflected. Huber bangs away at it. Druin almost scored on his own goaltender. Huber got a pretty good shot away at point blank, but Smith stopped him. Now here's Willie again. Huber with a little pass over the middle, and LeBronton got in too deep. LeBronton back to Mahavlich. 43 seconds of power play time left. Mahavlich in the slot, backhander glove by Smith, and he hangs on.
Big save by Smith. Boy, we saw a real, very, very smart play on LeBratton's part. We see Danny LeBratton here. He came into the side of the net and made the Winnipeg defenseman pay attention to him and allowed Big Mahavlich to wheel out in front of the net. And I don't really think Peter got an awful lot on that backhand shot. The puck started to bounce on him just as he let it go, but still a very dangerous shot and a big save by Gary Smith.
38 seconds of power play time left for the Red Wings. 6:39 left in the second period. The Red Wings leading it by a score of 3-2. And this man has been under a little bit of pressure in the second period after stopping only 8 shots by the Red Wings in the first period. Dale McCourt in for the face-off along with Ron Wilson to Smith's right. Now Lukovich was in the circle way before the puck was dropped, and we'll do it all over again.
There's a call that a lot of people don't know about, Larry. If that happens twice in a row by the same team, they can receive a 2-minute penalty for that, jumping before the whistle.
They call it delay. Shot by Huber is brought by Smith, and he holds on.
Yes, it would be a delay of game. It's not called all that often, but as you saw, the referee came over to warn Lukovich, who had jumped offside the first time, that if it happens again and they get caught, it could be a 2-minute penalty.
Well, we'll have another face-off to the right of Gary Smith. McCourt in against Druin this time. Druin on his knees. Huber stops it. LeBronton now. Off to the right. Larson. His shot deflected to the right. Picked up there by Nedomansky. Nedomansky, centering pass, knocked into the air and into the corner. And it's cleared out by Druin. That'll just about kill off the balance of the power play for the Red Wings. Just 3 seconds remaining. Nedomansky coming up the ice as the Jets return to full strength. Nedomansky takes it across, tries to center, and a quick centering pass, but Stick was out there at the same time his arrived. And Melrose drives it into the Red Wings' end. Rutherford leaves it there. Larson starts it up to McCourt. McCourt back to Nedomansky, and McCourt got in offside.
Dale kind of put himself offside there. He took the puck and almost was on the blue line when he dumped it back to Nedomansky, as a result putting himself offside. But these guys, this line of Nedomansky and McCourt and Danny LeBreton really starting to fly out here now, and they can really be dangerous when they start moving the puck around. Of course, Dale, not the quickest guy in the world, but he's got two wingers who can really scoot, and they can really catch some people sleeping.
5:32 left in the second period. The Red Wings leading it by a score of 3-2. Quick shot from just inside the blue line by Norwich, knocked away. Puck still in. A backhander by Marsh goes to the corner. Polonich over skates as he tried to dig it out from long. Now Polonich still having trouble getting to it. Dennis working hard, brings it down the right side. Polonich into the Jets' end. Stops abruptly on the far board with Schubert. Raked out of there now by Lukowicz. And it's jammed up against the boards, and Schubert and Polonich pushed a little bit.
There's a couple of little guys over there, Larry.
Polonich finally found somebody his own size.
Of course, Dennis never really worries too much about who he goes up against. I've seen him go up against some pretty big fellas out there.
Attendance tonight, 12,278 here at Olympia. And they've seen the Red Wings come from behind twice, 1-0 and 2-1, to assume a 3-2 lead.
Well, the funny thing, Gary, or Larry, that I'm going to talk about Gary and Larry. Gary Smith, between each period, takes all his equipment off, which is very, very unusual. All the goal pads and shoulder pads and everything that he's got. He goes right in the dressing room and for 15, 20 minutes takes all his equipment off and then turns around and has to put it all back on again to come out and start the next period. But he does that after the warm-up, after the first period, and after the second period, which is a lot of changing in an evening.
It is quite a chore. When they get a stoppage in play, too, here's Larson with a shot knocked down by Smith, and he covers it up. Let's keep an eye on him now and see if he takes off the gloves and piles them all up on top of the... He has a habit of doing that, too.
Well, Smitty, Smitty's been around for a while, and he's certainly quite a character. As a matter of fact, I saw him one night in Vancouver. We see an out-of-town score. Toronto Maple Leafs leading the Montreal Canadiens 2-1 in the second period at Toronto tonight. We'll get back to Gary Smith. There's a lot of stories about him, Larry.
Larson's shot sails wide, hits the backboard, comes on along the near side, and it's dug out there by Lindstrom. Ahead it goes now to Hull. Drop pass left for Sullivan. Sullivan with a shot, gloved by Jimmy Rutherford, and he holds on.
We were playing in Vancouver, Larry, about 4 years ago. Had a 5-on-3 situation, two Vancouver players in the penalty box, and just as we were going in to score a goal, and it was almost an automatic goal, Big Smitty just turned around and lifted the nets off its moorings, and of course the referee had to blow the play dead, but he's been known to do some crazy things over the years, and that was one of the funniest that I ever saw.
Saved
it
the
wasn't
goal,
funny at the time.
Here come the Wings, big half forward.
Oh, just a beautiful goal here, Larry. Bill Hogabaum makes an absolutely beautiful pass over the defenseman behind him to Danny Bolduc. And Smitty again, as we see, already down before the shot comes. And Danny Bolduc, lots of room to fire it up over top of him and into the net. A big goal for Danny Bolduc, who hasn't been playing, has been injured. And a big play for Billy Hogabaum, who's been sitting out the last couple of games. And he made that play happen with an excellent play.
Very, very fine pass and a fine goal by Bolduc to make it 4-2 Red Wings. And the time of the goal is 15:31 of the second period. Assist going to Hogabaum and to Sobchuk. So the Wings now have a 2-goal advantage. Huber back in his own end. 4:16 left in the second period. Thompson trying to get it ahead to Mahavlich. He tips it into the Jets end, and it's cleared out immediately. Now Moffat's pass is too far for Stamler to handle. Goes in behind. And we get an icing call. Take another look at that last goal. It's worth looking at several times, as a matter of fact.
Here's Sobchuk starting to play out to Hogabaum over on the right side. him and Bolduc come over. The defensemen come together, and Hoagie very alertly sees Bolduc coming in, flips a puck by him, and Danny makes a nice play as Smith was going down, got it up, and just underneath the crossbar. I'm sure a big play by Hogabaum for him and a big goal for Bolduc. Both those guys got to be very happy to get involved in the scoring.
Jolly at the left point. Lets it go. Knocked down. Loose cut. Mahavlich backhander knocked down. And it's cleared out to the far side. Picked up by Stamler. Stamler with a right wing pass now to Druin. Druin is being challenged and the puck is knocked away. Out it comes to center ice. And Foligno goes end for end. We got a delayed penalty coming up. No, I guess we don't. It was a delayed offside. They might nail a Jet for dumping Foligno, but they did not. Now Foligno gets it out to Thompson off his skate, deflected into the Jets' end. Cameron picks it up there. Willie Huber just sent Moffat flying, and the puck goes into the Red Wings' end and brought out immediately. Foligno, here's 2-on-1. Foligno on the right, shoots. Away by Smith. He had Glenn Hicks coming in on the left wing, all set for the rebound. Lukowicz. Pass knocked away. Taken by Jolly. Out it comes to Woods, back to Jolly. Jolly head to Foligno. Foligno into the zone. Muscling his way in, but he couldn't get anything on the shot, and Gary Smith covered it up.
You know, Larry, the funny thing about Huber running into Lukowicz again was it was almost identical to the call he got the penalty on not 4 or 5 minutes before. But again, Lukowicz not the size of Huber, and he really sent him flying.
We have 2:43 left in the second period. The Red Wings leading it by a score of 4-2 here at Olympia. College basketball coming up tomorrow night on TV, live from Genesee Fieldhouse as the Michigan State Spartans take on the Long Beach State Club. Airtime 8 o'clock. We hope you'll be able to join us. Dale McCourt will be taking the face-off with Ron Wilson, just to the right of Gary Smith when play resumes here at Olympia. 12,278 in attendance this evening. Have seen the Red Wings come back from a very flat first period to a strong performance in the second. Nedemansky shot wide. Larson lets it fly from the right point, turned away by Smith. Now McCourt along the near boards with Norwich. In the corner it goes. Out along the near side, and it's tipped out by Marsh. Larson back at his own blue line. Larson tries to get it to McCourt, but it's knocked away by Norwich, and Dale has to go back to pick it up. Gives it to Larson. Larson on the near boards, knocked away by Norwich, picked up by Wilson. Wilson with a shot, knocked away by Larson, goes to the corner. Wilson picks it up. His centering pass went underneath the stick of Peter Marsh. Now comes to center, taken by Campbell with 2 minutes left in the second period. To Norwich. Norwich ahead now to Marsh. Marsh into the Red Wing zone. Marsh backhanded pass, knocked away, picked up at center by Nedemansky. He's got McCourt with him. Nedemansky to the left side, centers to McCourt. He couldn't get a shot away. Out of finish, and makes it 5-2. The Red Wings. Danny was camped right on the slide and took the deflection and rammed it home.
Winnipeg really at fault here defensively in their own zone. Here's the puck coming in front of the net. Nedemansky to McCourt. Schoberg bangs it off the backboards, then takes McCourt as well as the other Winnipeg player, and that left LeBratton all alone in front of Smith, who had no chance whatsoever, and LeBratton just hammered it in. But Winnipeg definitely weak defensively on that play, and that's one goal they couldn't afford with 1:39 left in the second period to put the Wings up 5-2.
Big goal for the Red Wings at the 18:21 mark, the second period. Make it 5-2. That's the 9th goal for LeBratton.
Oh, we're going to get a penalty here, Larry. I don't know, following a goal like that and the Red Wings up 5-2, Danny Bolduc going to go off here, I believe, for interference. So with 1:19 left in the second period, Winnipeg will go on the power play.
Finish that scoring summary out for you. LeBratton, his 9th goal. at 18:21. Assists going to McCourt and Nedomansky. The penalty coming at 18:41 of the second period, and the Jets find themselves on the power play.
Well, it's a big power play, too, for Winnipeg. Be a big goal for them to get back here and get them only 2 goals down going into the third period.
Along the near boards, Jolly scrapping for possession along with Peter Marsh, goes in behind. Long tosses it off to McCourt. McCourt to hit to Paul Woods. Woods got McCourt flying on the right side, but couldn't get to him as he was ridden into the boards by Lindstrom. 1 minute left in the second period. Now Norwich brings it up the ice. Down to Sullivan. Sullivan is really flying, but his shot is knocked away by Barry Long. McCourt tries to get it to Woods. Intercepted. Centering pass intended for Sullivan. He got his shot away, and then Sullivan gave him a little chop as they both went to the board.
Well, actually, I think Jimmy Rutherford kind of instigated that, Larry. He saw Sullivan standing there all alone. Sullivan missed the deflection. He was all alone in front of Jimmy. He missed the deflection as the puck went behind the net. Jimmy decided to take a little piece of him. So I think Rutherford trying to get into the game a little bit. He figured, why not? We'll take a little piece of this action. Here we see it come again, the shot coming. Oh, the deflection's already been done. And there's Rutherford, as you can see, with the elbow right up into Sullivan's face. So Jimmy deciding to get into the action here a little bit.
Oh, no penalty is called. Not much more happened than what you've just seen. And we will resume play with a face-off to the right of Jimmy Rutherford with 37 seconds remaining in the second period, and the Red Wings leading it by a score of 5-2. Dale McCourt is on the ice for the face-off with Peter Sullivan. Sullivan was the most improved player on this Jets team last year as a Rookie of the Year in the 75-76 season. Puck goes in behind the net. Larson can't get to it. Goes to the corner, taken there by Peter Marsh. Now it's loose. Marsh trying to get a shot away, knocked down. It goes to the right corner where it's taken by Sullivan. Sullivan moving in, cross-wing pass, and a return centering pass and a goal by Peter Marsh.
Just a beautiful goal. I'll tell you, Bobby Hull on this play. Everybody in the whole building, I think, expecting him to shoot the puck, and just unbelievable. Everybody kind of going up as Hull does shoot the puck high. Here we see in the replay, the pass comes over to Bobby. He fakes the shot, slides it right across in front of the net, and Marsh just deflects it behind his feet and into the open side of the net. A real funny kind of a goal, but boy, what a play by the Winnipeg players.
It's a tough play to defend against.
It sure is, and a big goal for Winnipeg with just 19 seconds left in the second period.
It's a power play goal, and it makes it 5-3. 13 seconds left in the half. Mahavlich dumps it in. Hull and Sullivan getting the assist on the goal by Marsh. Now Moffat shoots it out the left side. Long shot by Stamler at the whistle, and that's the end of the second period of play. So the Red Wings lead it by a score of 5-3 after 2 periods here at Olympia Stadium. The Jets were leading 2-1 after 1. Here's the scoring in the second period. Woods got his 3rd goal of the season at the 2:05 mark of the second period. A tie at 2-2. Corn and Long getting the assist. And Nedomansky made it 3-2, scoring his 15th goal of the season at the 10-minute mark. Larson and Long getting the assist on that one. Red Wings went ahead 4-2 on Bolduc's goal at 15:31. Assist going to Hogebaum and Sobchuk. Then LeBronton made it 5-2 as Danny scored his 9th goal of the season. That came at 18:21. McCourt and Nedomansky getting the assist. Red Wings led 5-2 for the next minute and 20 seconds, and Marsh scored a power play goal with Bolduc off the ice at 19:41, his 6th goal of the season to make it 5-3. Hull and Sullivan getting the assists on the goal. Well, we mentioned a moment ago about the interview that Mickey Redmond had with the Golden Jet himself, Bobby Hull. Let's take a look at some of the comments that Bobby had for the on-TV audience this evening.
Bobby, in the middle of a retirement, how's the body feeling at age 40?
Well, I'm not really satisfied with what has happened so far, Mick. It's tough jumping into the swim of things with a bunch of 20-year-old kids who can really fly after missing training camp in 15 or 20 games plus last year, and I went back shooting a little bit too quickly when I first went out to begin with, and tore some muscles in my shoulder, and that hasn't healed yet. So between not really being able to keep up with the kids and a sore shoulder, it makes it a little bit uneasy for me.
Well, there was a problem with training camp. You missed the whole camp. Coming out of the draft, there was a lot of speculation that you might go to Chicago. It didn't work out, and as a result, you've missed the camp. What really transpired in all of that over the summer?
Well, I thought that Ferguson and Pulford could make some sort of deal. I made my intentions known to the Jets that I would have preferred to finish my career below the border in the United States, and felt that the two managers could get together with some sort of deal prior to training camp, and it went on, and I didn't want to get involved in it, which maybe I should have, and it ended up that they became loggerheads with one another, and no deal could be made, and finally it got late, training camp was over, and they were on into the season, and I thought if I was going to play this season, I'd better soon get at it, or it would be all over permanently for me. So I went to them, and we finally got something arranged, and I got back playing anyhow.
Bobby, last year you started the season with the Jets, and we played 3 or 4 games, and then you retired. Was there any special reason for the retirement, or just feeling your age a little bit and getting out there with those young guys, or what was the real problem?
I went through the worst part of it, as you know, Vic, the training camp. I got through training camp and played 4 games, and I wasn't feeling that badly physically, but I just couldn't get involved in the game the way I wanted to, and you know the way I play the game, and that's 100% all the time, and I just couldn't get motivated to the point where I could go out there in front of the fans and give them everything that they deserve, and so I decided that maybe it was time that I did call it quits.
Was there a time just back a few weeks ago that you thought that maybe the career was over, or were you looking forward and confident that something could be worked out and you'd be back in the lineup?
Well, I thought likely that something could be worked out for sure. I didn't feel that I was worthless to the National Hockey League. I felt that there was a place either in Winnipeg or some other club that I could play and help the individuals, but I really feel that I'm just playing it now, and I've made it known that if I can't help a club a little more than I have been recently, then I would not be excess baggage, and I wouldn't want to hang around for a whole year not being able to help our hockey club.
Well, I'm sure that's not going to happen, Bob, but, talking of age and young guys, there's one guy a little bit older than you still playing, and that's Gordie Howe. The way you felt, I'm sure that you felt the aches and pains at 40. How the heck is Gordie Howe doing it at age 52?
Oh, well, it's amazing, Mick. You know him a little better than I do. You played with him for a few years, and you know the kind of individual he is. He's so dedicated and so loves the game that he'll play it as long as he can possibly play it. He plays a style that maybe allows him to play at his age, maybe a little more than a person like myself who likes to wheel all over the ice. And I've left a lot of blood, sweat, and tears all over the ice. And Gordie, he's a little smarter than I am. He just goes in straight lines. And but when you speak of Howe, you speak of him in one breath and the rest of us in another. So it's amazing that he can do it. He's a great athlete, and a credit to the game.
Bob, you've had a lot of memories, I'm sure, from Olympia Stadium back in the old days when Gordie was playing here. A fellow I'm sure you'll remember, Brian Watson, you had a few confrontations with. You know that the Red Wings are moving into Joe Louis Arena. What is the feeling for you coming in here for the last time, going to go to a new building and leaving all the memories here?
Well, it was so terrific. When I came in the door, a group of the ushers grabbed me, and they hadn't forgotten our 15 years here at the Olympia prior to this coming back now for the last time there. It's been that way all over the league. They've given me tremendous ovations, and it's really heartwarming to know that the people appreciated what I did some years ago.
Bobby, I want to wish you all the best. I know that you're going to continue as long as you're playing to give the fans thrills all over the league, not only in Detroit and new Joe Louis Arena. Good luck to the Jets, and good luck to yourself in your comeback and in future years.
Thanks, Mick, very much.
Now let's go back upstairs to Larry Osterman.
Okay, Mickey, thank you very much, and thanks to you, Bobby Hall, for taking time to talk with us. The Red Wings lead it by a score of 5-3 after 2 periods of play here at Olympia. You know, we've been talking a lot about basketball coming up on TV, and there will be a lot of basketball. There'll be a lot of hockey, but there's something new coming up that we know you'll enjoy. It's called indoor soccer. The Detroit Lightning will be taking on the Buffalo Stallions at Cobo Arena coming up on December 14th, and we'll be there for all of the action here on TV. I'm sure that you will enjoy what you see. If you are not familiar with the game, it's a combination of soccer and hockey. The soccer players use the boards much as they do in hockey. They bounce it off the backboard and wait for the rebound, and there's a lot of goals scored in this game. You'll have a lot of 7-5, 9-6, 8-5 games as the Detroit Lightning take on the Major Indoor Soccer League in the 1979-78 debut as far as the Lightning is concerned. So that's coming up on the 14th of December here on TV, beginning at 8 o'clock, live from Cobo Arena. And we hope that you'll be able to join us for all of the action. Here at Olympia, it's 5-3. The Red Wings are leading after 2 periods of play against the Winnipeg Jets. One of the most outstanding movies of this past movie season was Alien. It's 5-3, the Red Wings leading the Winnipeg Jets after 2 periods of play. As you can see, the Red Wings are back, and here's the way the first of the 5-goal second period went.
Just a great play here, Larry, by Paul Woods, who split the Winnipeg defense, really maintained his balance there, and Gary Smith went down, and Woods just slid it underneath his trapper to tie the game up at 2-2. A great individual effort. Here we see the go-ahead goal by Reed Larson. Really made a great play over here, beat 2 Winnipeg defenders, slid it across the ice to Nedemansky, who caught Smith really by surprise, and he just drove it up into the top of the net to put the Wings ahead at 3-2. And when they came right back at Bill Hogebaum and Danny Bolduc, Hoagie makes a great play in behind the Winnipeg defender, almost like Nedemansky's goal. Bolduc again with Smith down, fired it high into the net to make it 4-2 for Detroit. Here we're going to see the 5th goal for Detroit, which was scored by Danny LeBratton. Nedemansky makes a pass to McCourt, and the 2 Winnipeg defenders both tried to take Dale McCourt, as we can see, and Danny LeBratton left all alone in front of Gary Smith, no chance. LeBratton's 9th goal of the year, and the Wings up 5-2, and that goal came at 18:21. But then Detroit took a penalty, and at 19:41, Peter Marsh, an assist from Bobby Hull and Sullivan, a real pretty kind of a goal that nobody in the building really thought was coming, but Hull just made a great play, faking the shot, everybody expecting the shot, slid it across the net, and Sullivan made a nice, very, very headsy play, deflecting the puck behind him into an empty net that Rutherford, of course, had no chance on the goal.
Both teams are back on the ice, and the 3rd period will be coming up in just a moment or two. 5-3 the score. The Red Wings leading it. Out of town, the Rangers leading the Blackhawks 3-0. They have completed 1 period of play in New York in that one.
Well, Larry, Winnipeg got a big goal with only 19 seconds left in the second period to put them back into the hockey game, only 2 down. And as we experienced here less than a week ago, the Montreal Canadiens against the Wings down 4 goals at one point in the game. So really the game is never over, and even with the Winnipeg Jets, the Wings, I'm sure, would like to come out and get that first goal again here to give them a 3-goal budge again at the start of this 3rd period. But of course the Jets with different ideas. They're going to try and get one back real fast and then be just a goal away.
I might mention for our movie fans, coming up immediately following the telecast of the Red Wing Jets game, you will see the great train robbery in its entirety. So stay tuned to On TV for fine movie entertainment. Great train robbery in its entirety immediately following Red Wings hockey. Vancouver and Pittsburgh are tied at 2-2. They're playing in the 3rd period now at Pittsburgh, and the final period of this game is underway. Jets down by a pair of goals. Shot into the Red Wing end. Barry Long chasing it with Lindstrom and Sullivan. Sullivan finally kicks it out. Then he's pinned against the board by Larson. And it's cleared out to center ice. Taken there by Norwich. Now Hicks in his own end. Ahead by Korn and brought back in. Korn falls down. A pass too far behind Sullivan. He has to go to the corner. Throws to the far side. Lindstrom skates in. And Korn comes up with a puck. Comes out to center. Silver shoots it to the far side and comes back into the near corner. Very long. Kept in at the left point by Silver, knocked down by Long, picked up by Polanic. Polanic with a wrist shot, knocked down by Smith. He sweeps it behind for Lindstrom. Lindstrom in the corner. Now behind the net. That's Norwich. Norwich back to Lindstrom. Tries to get it across the hull, broken up by Mahavlich. Back to Silver. Silver into the zone, almost lost it. And shoots it in behind as the Jets change on the fly. Out to Mahavlich at center ice. He's got Polino with him on the right. Mahavlich takes it in. Tries to get it to Polino. He put it right on target. Polino didn't see it coming. And Smith made the save. Now a shot by Polino bounces off and goes to the corner. Rolling around the ledge, we've got a whistle and we'll have a faceoff coming up to the right of Gary Smith.
Well, again, we see the play of Mahavlich, Thompson, and Polino. Peter makes a good play to get the puck back through in the front of the net to Polino. Unfortunately, Smith got to it first, but then the puck was thrown right back to Mike Polino in the corner, and he was allowed to walk out of the corner and get a real good shot on goal that, again, I think Smith was a bit surprised on. Caught him high on the left shoulder, and a real big save for the Winnipeg goaltender.
As you know, Polino was the Wings' first draft pick. He had 65 goals at Sudbury last year. He was the most valuable player on that team. He's had a pretty good rookie season so far.
He sure has, Larry. He's shown a lot of smarts out there, and the kid can really fire the puck. There's a few things I'm sure that he's going to have to get used to up in the NHL, but boy, when he's had the chance to shoot it, as we saw right there, he can let it go.
Face off to the right of Smith. Goes into the corner, thrown around behind by Cameron. Comes out to the near side. Huber shoots it back to Polino. Backhanded centering pass goes too far. Picked up by Thompson. Thompson, the shot knocked down by Cameron. Thompson goes in behind, tries to jam it, and it's wide to the right. Along the near side. Swept out to center ice. Chased on the far side by Marsh, who got goal number 3 for the Jets tonight. Rutherford tips it to the corner. Thompson bounces it off the ledge. Thompson takes it behind the net. He retreats, forced back by Wilson, shoots it up to Polino. Polino ahead to Mahavlich. Mahavlich turned back at the blue line. Now takes it in on the right side, tries to get it to Polino inadvertently. Shoots it back out to center. Here's Lukowich. Off it goes now to Wilson. A backhanded Lukowich, and it's knocked down by Rutherford. It's still loose, but the official has blown the whistle, and the play has been blown dead.
Well, a fortunate deflection there by Rutherford. The Winnipeg players are 2-on-1, a nice pass to the right side, and as he tried to, the right winger tried to move the puck back to the left side, I think it deflected off the skate of the Detroit player right there and almost went in the net. Jimmy moving to the left to cover the shooter, almost couldn't get that puck, but just caught a piece of it with his right pad and jumped on it for the whistle.
17:24 left in tonight's hockey game at Olympia. The face-off to the left of Rutherford. Jimmy steers it behind. Now Larson along the near side. Hogebaum chases it behind. Far side, picked up by Hogebaum. Brings it to center. Now to Larson, and it's knocked down at the blue line. Hogebaum pinned there. Puck comes free, picked up by Chavert. Now Druin is turned around, and Larson picks up the loose puck. Out it comes to Bolduc, but he can't get to it. Knocked away by Norwich. Now driven into the end. The Jets end, picked up there by Silver. Silver over to the far side, knocked away by Bolduc. And it's picked up now by the Jets Norwich. Norwich down the middle, lets it go from the blue line. Bangs off the backboard, picked up by Hogebaum, goes into the corner. Now very long, having a little trouble getting possession as Druin comes in. Now Hogebaum drops it back to Sobchuk. Sobchuk's got a winger on the left. He feeds him. Here he comes. A shot knocked away as Bolduc was stopped by Smith and is jammed up against the boards.
Well, some good work by Hogebaum, Sobchuk, and Danny Bolduc. Another play that just made over to Bolduc like his first goal. Unfortunately for Danny, the Winnipeg defenseman hooked him just at the last minute. He was going to let his shot go, but he was in a good position to have a good opportunity on Gary Smith.
Face-off will be to the right of Sullivan as Bolduc steps into the players' bench on the near side. face-off will be to the right of Gary Smith, and Sullivan will be in with Dale McCord, a pair of number 10s for this draw. New York leading the Chicago Blackhawks. We gave you that score earlier. Edmonton and Minnesota are scoreless after one period of play in Bloomington.
Well, that line of Sobchuk, Vogelbaum, and Danny Bolduc really doing some skating, Larry, and as you can see, they're creating some opportunities for themselves.
Face off to the right of Smith. Thrown around behind by Al Cameron, who was a former Red Wing Pirate. Goes into the corner. Kept in at the left point by Korn. Out it comes to center. Hall throws it to the near side to Campbell. Campbell shoots it out to center. Huber back along the near boards. Now it comes along the left side. Picked up by Sullivan. Sullivan with a pass to Campbell, and it's tucked away nicely. Huber jamming it up against the boards, and we'll have a face-off to the right of Rutherford.
Oh, the wing's a little bit lax again, Larry, out at center ice, and as a result, a heck of a nice play over to Campbell, and he put a real good move on Jimmy Rutherford, had him down, and I think if he'd have got the shot away, he might have had a goal, but he half-fanned on it, and the puck just slid towards the side of the net and into the boards where Huber covered it up, but a real good move by Campbell. There's a shot at Bobby Hull, the Golden Jet. We haven't seen an awful lot of Hull tonight, but of course, with the way he shoots the puck, all he needs is one or two shots, and he can put that puck in the net.
We have 15:40 left in tonight's hockey game. The Red Wings leading at 5-3, poked away by Hall. Now Hall on the near side over skates as Sullivan picks it up. Out to Campbell. Campbell shoots it into the slot. Hall can't get to it. Very long can. He gets it out on the left side of LeBrocken. LeBrocken into the zone. Tries to go past Cameron. He's billed into the boards, and it's dug out by Scott Campbell. Campbell throws it back now to Cameron. Jets bringing it up. Off to Campbell on the left. Too far for him to handle. Campbell and Larson go in. Larson comes up with a puck. Larson starts to LeBrocken. Here's 3-on-2 developing to McCord off to Nedomansky. And Nedomansky gets it back to McCord. Now goes into the corner to LeBrocken. Back to Nedomansky. Hit a skate. And it comes out to center. On the right side, Lindstrom loses the puck. Picked up there by the Red Wings. This is Nedomansky shooting from outside the blue line, turned to the corner by Smith. Comes Lindstrom. Lindstrom drives it to the Red Wings end. Rutherford leaves it for Long. Long starts it up the left side, tries to get it off to Foligno, knocked away by Bobby Hull. Foligno still battling for it, picked up by Earl Thompson, moving in, he shoots. Knocked down by Smith. Loose puck. Big scramble at the goal now. The whistle has started prior to the goal, however. Mahavlich is complaining about it.
Well, Wicks blew the whistle, Larry, and I don't know. I couldn't really see the puck, but evidently it wasn't frozen, and Wicks had already blown the whistle, and this is what they're arguing about. I'm sure Wicks had lost sight of the puck. It was scrambled in the net. We see Thompson pick up on the replay, picks a pass up, makes a deke on Smith. Smith makes a real good save here. Thompson with the open net. And now we can't see the puck. They're trying to jam it in with a Winnipeg defenseman there, and there it comes loose, and that's right where Wicks, I guess, had blown the whistle. But Foligno had picked it up from the side of the goalpost, pulled it around the other side, and jammed it in. But here's the good save right off the bat, and the puck rolling right to the post again off of Earl Thompson. And here it is laying right beside the post, and nobody can get their stick on it until Norwich comes in and shoves it back. And I think at that point, Wicks blew the whistle because he lost sight of it. But in essence, Foligno was at the same time taking it around behind the net and did eventually jam it in, but after the whistle had already blown.
So the score stays 5-3 as the goal is disallowed. Mahavlich in the slot, a backhander, and it's knocked into the pads of Gary Smith, and he holds it, and we'll have a face-off coming up to his left. Smith has had a lot of action down there tonight after the first period. Bobby Crom, standing behind the Red Wings bench, has to be pleased with the way the Red Wings have come back after a rather shaky first 20 minutes. Puck goes into the corner. Now picked up by Schubert. Out it comes to center ice. Larson taps it to Foligno. Knocked off his stick by Schubert, and it's picked up by Norwich. Norwich to Schubert. A hit on the left to Lukowicz. His rink-wide pass intended for Marsh is deflected back into the Jets zone, and Norwich retreats to pick it up. To Sauvert. Now it goes to Marsh. Marsh to center ice. Goes past Mahavlich. Gets a shot away. Long rebound off Rutherford's stick, and it's cleared to the far side. Thompson battling in the corner. Pops up into the air. Looks like they're swatting flies for a moment there. That puck was up on the glass. Finally was found lying on the ledge, and somebody took a real jab in there.
I don't think Wicks realized the puck was sitting on the ledge very long. Didn't know what to do with it, because if the puck had been in his feet and no Winnipeg players checking him, he could have got a 2-minute delay of game penalty. But Wicks, not realizing the puck was on the ledge or on the glass, finally Lukowicz took a jab in there with his stick, and Wicks blew the whistle.
Wicks has had kind of a shaky last couple of minutes here. Red Wings leading at 5-3. We have 13-11 left in this hockey game. If Hall can pick up a couple of assists tonight, he will have 1,800 career points. That is a lot of scoring.
Well, he's got at least one tonight, doesn't he, Larry? One assist?
I think he does have one, doesn't he, Bob? Two? He does have two.
So
then he has the 1,800.
He has reached the 1,800 point mark.
Thought he had just the one. Puck back in the Jet zone is cleared out by Woods. Huber tries to get it to Paul. Knocked away at the blue line by Cameron. He goes down. Kicks in the corner. Was in behind. Polonich is there. Polonich along the boards, keeping it alive, and now Woods gets it. Woods out to the left point to Jolly. Puts it in behind the corner. Comes to the right side, taken by Campbell. Out on the right wing it goes. A lead pass intended for Druin was kind of dangerous for a moment as it was bouncing along, but nothing of any particular importance happened. Here's 3-on-2, and the Wings are offside. They called Dix for being offside on the left wing, and he slammed his stick to the ice in protest. Hull got it assisted on the goal by Lindstrom and also on Marsh's.
You know, it's amazing, Larry. We really have not noticed Bobby Hull an awful lot tonight, but it's funny how a great hockey player can be a factor and really not even be that noticeable. The two assists on the 3 goals that Winnipeg scored so far.
That's a very good point. Some of the great ones you really don't know they're out there because they perform so flawlessly for the most part, and it's sort of expected, I guess. We have 12-13 left in the hockey game. 5-3, Wings lead. Long retreating into his own end, being chased by Sullivan. Out of Larson. Hogebob tries to get it off to Bolduc. Bolduc brings it down the right side. Bolduc trying to get through. The puck is through. Bolduc couldn't get to it in time to get the shot away. Great effort on his part, however. Now here come the Jets. On the right side, Lindstrom scores. Well, it didn't look like that tough a shot.
Well, I'll tell you another surprise. Lindstrom caught Jimmy Rutherford, not expecting him to shoot, and many times you can catch a goaltender. The shot doesn't have to be hard. We see it in the replay. It's just coming in, a very routine play. Barry Long goes down to block the shot, but I don't believe he screened Rutherford. And then again, maybe he did, Larry. We see from that angle, we can see that Jimmy may be a little bit screened, but a very routine shot underneath Rutherford's glove. And boy, we got us a hockey game, 5-4.
That's an unassisted goal by Lindstrom. It comes at 8:15 of the third period, and as you mentioned when we started the third period, it's not over until all the time is off the clock. So the Jets are within 1 of the Red Wings now. Does it look like the Red Wings might have it put away? Another shot by Lindstrom is deflected wide. Comes to the left side. Sullivan spins it behind the net, goes to the far wing. Drop behind, pass intercepted by Sullivan. Sullivan still with it. Centering pass intended for Hall, intercepted by Long, and he gets it out. Now to Adamaski. Adamaski across the line, drop pass for LeBrocken. LeBrocken with a pass is knocked away by Smith. Goes to the far side. Long shoots it back. Goes to the far wing. Now the Jets cleared out. Long knocks it down, controls it. Long into the zone, lines up, shoots, and it's gloved by Smith.
Well, I thought I could hear a whistle there. I don't know if you did or not, but it's about the third time now that I almost, maybe somebody in the stands has got a whistle, but I thought there was a stoppage in play there when Barry Long took the puck over the blue line. But with all this noise, it's kind of hard to tell with the fans,
We have 10:52 left in the hockey game. 5-4. Red Wings clinging to a slender one-goal advantage. Face off to the left of Smith. Big Pete Mahavlich is in. Shot by Huber, sails off the glass behind, comes out to Jolly. Jolly throws it in behind. Foligno there, steers it to the corner. Taken there by Thompson. Thompson drops it back now to Foligno. Foligno having a little trouble controlling it. Takes it all the way to the far boards, out to Jolly. Now behind, intended for Thompson, but stopped by Smith, picked up there by Campbell. And the Jets control it. Out it comes on the right side. Marsh with a shot. Knocked high up into the crowd off the stick of Greg Jolly.
Winnipeg, Larry, in this first 9 minutes and 40 seconds of the third period has carried the play to the Wings. And, I think, again, the Wings up by 2 goals. That late goal by Winnipeg with 19 seconds left in the second period certainly had to give them a lift to let them know that they were at least in the hockey game. And so far, the Wings have allowed them to carry the play here in the third period. And the result, now a 1-goal hockey game.
I think you pointed out at the time there was a tough penalty for the Red Wings to take at that particular stage, and the Jets capitalized on it. Rather than trailing by 3 goals after 2 periods, they trailed by just 2. And they get one here in the third period, and now it's 5-4. Got a later score from Bloomington, Minnesota. The North Stars are leading Edmonton 2-1 now, and Toronto leading Montreal 3-1 there in the third period at Toronto. Here at Olympia, it's 5-4, the Red Wings. Foligno shoots it down the ice, and Thompson was way offside. So we bring it back, and we'll have a face-off coming up.
Unfortunately for the Wings, just before the goal by Lindstrom, Danny Bolduc made a real good rush and just got tripped up at the last moment, or it might have been a 3-goal hockey game, and wouldn't you know it, that Winnipeg comes down the ice in one shot, and bang, you've got a 1-goal game.
Red Wings with the puck. Jolly has to hustle over to get the puck, then he's tripped up. Here comes a pass off the Lukowicz, a shot, he shot it wide. Well, that he did. He'll get behind. Thompson is spun around. Now we're going to get a delayed penalty against the Jets, and it'll be whistled down right now.
The funny thing there, Larry, is that Gary Smith had left his net, and he thought that there was a penalty to the Red Wings. And if the Red Wings had got their the stick on that puck and fired it down the ice, the net was wide open, they could have had themselves an easy goal. But Smitty thought the delayed penalty was on the Red Wings, and he left the net, abandoned the net.
I would imagine from his vantage point it would have been a little difficult to tell because there were a lot of bodies between him and the other end of the ice. That's kind of a dangerous decision to take upon yourself, though.
Well, I think, as I pointed out earlier, Smitty is actually really got a reputation for making things happen. He was one of the original goaltenders to start straying from the net, and many times I've seen him on a delayed penalty on the other team. Smitty would come out and get in the play and actually come down and play inside the other team's blue line and take shots and everything else. So he likes to stir things up a little bit and raise some action.
Now, Ron Wilson is off 2 minutes for holding at the 10-12 mark of the third period. So the Red Wings are on the power play. Foligno knocked away, picked up by Lesuc. On the board it comes to Campbell. Tries to get it out, and it does come to center ice, picked up by Lesuc. Being challenged by Mahavlich. Lesuc still skating, brings it into the Red Wings end. Finally knocked off his stick, picked up by Mahavlich. Nedomansky. Now it goes to Thompson. Thompson with a pass off to McCourt. Shot on a sharp angle, knocked down by Smith, and it's knocked into the crowd. A minute 17 of power play time left. Dale McCourt, who got in kind of deep to get a shot off.
He was a very bad angle, Larry, actually, but I think what happened there is Dale looking for the right winger Polino to be cutting in front of the net, and Mike was cut off by one of the Winnipeg defenders, and McCourt just got the shot on the short side, which was an easy save for Gary Smith to make.
I think this discussion is questioning why the faceoff is being brought out to center ice.
Well, I think what happened there is the rebound came off of Smith, and McCourt banged it and went up over the glass. From our vantage point, that's what seemed to happen, and I guess referee Wicks agrees with us.
Minute 17 of power play time left. McCourt with it, rink wide to Larson. Larson racing down the far boards as it knocked away. Melrose pinned against the boards, dug out by Mahavlich. Off to Netamansky, out to McCourt, teeing it up, and moves it back along the right side of Netamansky and got away from him. Now Silberg trying to clear it out. McCourt, however, keeps it at the blue line. His shot. Smith knocks it down, and Silberg takes it again, rams it off the glass, knocked down by Larson, taken away from him. And it's picked up by the Jets. Shot into the Red Wings end, chased on the far side. Larson over there with Drouin. Finally shot behind the Red Wings net. 30 seconds of power play time left, and the Wings will have to get organized here pretty soon. Out it comes to Netamansky. Left wing to LeBronton. 17 seconds of power play time left. Mahavlich. Back to LeBronton, out to McCourt. McCourt winds up, shoots, knocked down by the defenseman. Barry Melrose. Mahavlich, 5 seconds of power play time. McCourt shot, loose puck, cleared out by Silberg, kept in by Huber. Both teams at full strength now. Another shot from left point by McCourt. Gloved by Smith, and the power play time has expired, and we still have a 5-4 hockey game.
Well, the Wings around the net on the power play, but really did not get anything in close, Larry. McCourt had 3 or 4 opportunities from back at the point, but on a power play, you're trying to get somebody isolated in the slot area or just off to the right or the left to get that real good point-blank shot, and the Wings failed to do that on that power play.
So we have 7:44 left in tonight's game. The Red Wings leading the Jets 5-4, and the face-off to the right of Gary Smith. Knocked away, loose puck. Controlled, however, by Campbell. Campbell tries to clear. Polonich keeps it in, throws to the far side, comes off the boards onto Lindstrom's stick. Loose at center. Here's Bobby Hall. Now picked up by Sullivan. Back near his own blue line. Ahead on the right wing. Jolly knocks the man down. Picked up by Hicks. Clears it out to center. Woods moves it to Huber. Huber trying to get it to the left side of a racing Glenn Hicks, but couldn't do it. Now it's loose. Polonich races after it. It's deflected high into the seats.
A nice catch down there by a fan.
I'd like to remind you, movie fans, that the Great Crane Robbery will be seen in its entirety here on TV immediately following the telecast of the Red Wings Jets hockey game. So stay with us. A lot of fine movie entertainment coming up this evening.
Well, the Jets certainly not quitting, Larry. They're here to get a point or two if they can, and should be an exciting last 7 minutes and 4 seconds. The Red Wings, I know, would love to get another goal and get that 2-goal advantage, but I'm sure they don't want to go down to an open net situation, which I'm sure Winnipeg will do if they're still down by a goal, is pull the goaltender in the last minute or so of the game.
Campbell to Cameron. Shot in. The Red Wings end. Polonich chases it. Dennis tries to get it to Woods, goes back into the Jets end. Campbell racing after it, throws it to the far side, picked up there by Cameron. Cameron up to center ice, knocked down there by Sobchuk. Hall gets it to Campbell, to Lindstrom. Return pass to Hull on the right. And it was knocked away offside as they call it the blue line.
I think we can see, Larry, what Bobby was talking about in the interview. He's just a little bit rusty, and you can tell he's just not making those smooth plays as he's used to. And an example there where he overskated the puck. This comes with ice time, and he hasn't had all that much ice time, of course, missing all of training camp. And you can see it's just that little edge that he hasn't got that I'm sure he, as he pointed out, he's disappointed in. But of course, knowing Bobby Hull, I'm sure if he sticks at it, it's going to come back to him very quickly.
Well, one of the things about a man who has so much talent and has enjoyed so much success, as has Bobby Hull, he has a standard that he's established for himself, and if he can't reach it, he's disappointed in his performance. And in many cases, the talent that he has out there now, despite the fact that it's not reaching that goal that he has established for himself, is better than a lot of players will ever have. Puck in the Red Wing end. Long is decked, and we've got a whistle and have a face-off to the left of Rutherford. But once the kid gets a little experience, he'll be back.
No question about it. After 22 years in the league, I'm sure he's just getting his feet wet now.
What a career. You know, he broke into the National Hockey League in 57, I believe.
It's a long time.
3 times the NHL leading goal scorer. Got a whistle at the blue line. Face-off coming up with 6:05 left.
Well, in the old days, Larry, you know, the goaltenders used to just fear going into Chicago with Bobby and Dennis and the curved sticks and the way they could fire the puck. It was a nightmare for goaltenders. And, of course, a lot of them didn't wear the mask in those days.
Was Hull instrumental in the development of the curved stick?
I believe so. Between him and Stan Mikita, they both experienced had some trials with it back a few years ago.
Mikita is sidelined for a period of time now with an injury. That'll hurt the Blackhawks for a while. His loss. Larson gives it to Hogebaum, who fires it into the corner. Smith leaves it there for Norwich. Norwich being challenged by Bolduc, and Norwich just stands there now, bringing it up. Lukowicz gets into the zone, and Rutherford leaves it for Long. Out to the far side, Bolduc tips it out to center ice, and it's picked up there by Ron Wilson. Over to Campbell. Campbell fires it back into the Red Wings' end. Long goes in behind along with Marsh. And we get an icing call, and we'll go back to the other end for the face-off. Again, we remind you the great train robbery will be seen in its entirety here on TV immediately following this telecast. So we invite you to stay tuned for a very fine movie we're sure you will enjoy. And it will be coming up immediately following this game.
You know, getting back to the curved stick, Larry, there's a story that goes that Stan Mikita one day broke his stick, the blade of his stick in practice, and it broke in a 90-degree angle, and you know, he just used the stick, and he, as a result, found the puck doing some funny things, and this is how I think the story goes anyway, that they started to experience to use the curve, and a lot of danger came from it for goaltenders from then on.
Red Wings with a puck, 4:51 left in the hockey game. Foligno gets it out to Mahavlich. Good move by Peter. And he dumps it in. A bouncing puck, gloved by Smith. Drops it, sweeps it off to the near side to Stamler. Stamler's pass is loose. Picked up by the Red Wings. Mike Foligno shot it wide to the left. Mahavlich tries to get it out to Foligno again. It's deflected. And Stamler picks it up. Shoots it to center. Now Huber to Foligno. Foligno ahead. Thompson tips it in, and it's cleared out by Cameron. Foligno picks it up, has to wait for Thompson to clear the zone. Thompson fires it back in. We're nearing the 4-minute mark left in this hockey game. Jets down by 5-4 count. They led 2-1 after the first period. Shot into the Red Wing end. The Jets changing on the fly as Jolly picks it up. Ahead to McCourt. McCourt to center. McCourt tries to get through. He does on the left. A shot, and it's knocked down. Let's pick by Levinsky. Now McCourt got in pretty deep, Mickey, but he bounced it off Smith's chest, it appeared, and Big Ned was right there to ram it home.
Well, another funny kind of a goal. Dale McCourt took the backhand. A good move at the blue line to beat the Winnipeg defenseman. Here's McCourt in on his backhand. He takes the shot high that bounces off Smith's blocker, I think, and comes right out between the legs of Schubert. And there's Nedemansky, Johnny on the spot, and he just banged it in the open side. So a big goal for the Wings with 3:43 left in the hockey game to go up by 2.
Time of the goal is 16-13 of the third period. The Wings now lead 6-4. You are correct. That is a very big goal for the Wings. Out it comes to center. Lindstrom with the puck and offside at the blue line. Jolly and McCourt and Jolly, if you prefer, on the assists. Netamansky picks up his second goal of the night, his 16th of the season.
You know, getting back to Makita and curved sticks, Larry, Stan, has been in the National Hockey League, I believe, for 21 years. And he has really come up with some innovations equipment-wise, and it's just funny that it happened with him with the curved stick. He's got that type of a mind that always was working and looking for advantages, and when I think he had the problem with the broken stick and then went to go, most guys would just go and change their stick when they get a broken stick, but he went ahead and used the darn thing with the break in it and the angle, and of course found the puck knuckleballing like a baseball and doing all kinds of flips and dives, and they just started to experiment with it, and boy, those guys really got it going in Chicago with the Hull brothers and the big hooks. Before they put I think they put a ruling on it that you could only have a hook to a half an inch.
Right. Puck shot in. Here's LeBratton in behind, tries the center and hit the back of the goalpost. And the Jets bring it out. Left wing pass. Sullivan has it knocked away. Larson goes in to the corner. Gets it out now to Netamansky. Netamansky across to LeBratton on the left. LeBratton racing in. His centering pass. Sullivan is there to clear loose puck, however, as Sullivan couldn't get it out of there, and it's picked up by Schubert. Now it comes now to Norwich. Norwich has it knocked away by LeBratton, picked up by Larson. Out it goes, intended for McCourt. Too far for him to handle. And the Wings change on the fly now as the Jets come back up the ice. Marsh on the right with Woods. Marsh finally lost the puck, and it's loose on the far side. Goes in behind. Willie Huber is there to claim it for the Red Wings. Bounces it off the boards. Intended for Polonich, but Campbell fires it back deep. Swept to the far side by Rutherford. Woods in the corner. Ball bangs it off the boards. Loose. Now Barry Long goes after it. Glenn Hicks is decked from behind. They jam it up against the boards. We'll have a face-off coming up.
Here we go. There's big Willie Huber come firing in there. Well, we can't really. There we see Polonich now really giving it to somebody. Huber had a hold of one of the players from behind, and Dennis was really throwing the right hand. There's big Huber. He's all over the place. I think Willie's been throwing his body around all night. He's ready for some action. He's got a real pile-up over there. Out of the picture right now, we see, I think it's Campbell and Dennis Klein. There they are, just coming into the left side of your screen. And Campbell, a good head taller than Polonich, but boy, Dennis was really wailing on him.
It looked like Sobchak was going to sort of ignore it, but as you can plainly see, others did not.
Well, I'm afraid for the Red Wings point here, they may receive an extra 2-minute penalty. And here we see in the replay how this all started. Glenn Hicks, of course, was really hit from behind. I can't see who that was on the Winnipeg side, but Hicks took exception to that a little bit. And then you'll see here's Huber right about here. He decides to go in and take a run. And there's Campbell. Huber goes in after him. And there goes Willie with the big left hand. He's really giving it to Campbell right there, and I think that's where Polonich got into it. But we could see an extra penalty for Detroit here. There's only 2:02 left in the hockey game. There's Mr. Campbell, and he's having it out with some of the fans down by the alleyway, but he's out of the game, and Willie Huber's been ejected from the game also. But we'll have to wait and see here now what referee Wicks hands out, but I just have that feeling that the Red Wings may come out on the short end of the stick.
It looks like Polonich in the penalty box. It is, as we take a look at our screen here, and we'll take one more look at it here. I really felt that after the whistle sounded that it was going to all end, because Sobchak, as you can see now.
So here's the charge by the Winnipeg player on Glenn Hicks, and he really knocked him flying.
Looks like Cameron that nailed him.
Yes, it is Cameron, and then Barry Long comes in. Trish tries to freeze it. Paul Woods is in there, and Polonich is in. All four Red Wings in there, and then you'll see from the right side of your screen, Campbell right about here. There he is there. And then Huber, of course, watching him come in, went in and grabbed him and just started throwing punches. Him and Polanic, I think, both working Campbell over, so we had a little bit of a melee there for a few minutes. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here with Wicks handing out the penalties. See already up on the board, they've got Dennis Polanic, 2-minute penalty.
There's your goaltender. He is rather unconcerned right now, I'd say.
Well, Smitty, I think, a little bit tired. He's had a long night, and he's just resting on the net. And there's a shot at Jimmy Rutherford doing the same thing at the other end. Getting the call, Larry, and by the reaction of the fans, I think Detroit did get something extra here.
Now we're double checking here. As soon as we get the official information, all they have up is Polanic on the board.
There's a shot of Polo over there in the penalty bench and a little bit of a smile.
It looks like it'll be Huber and Campbell will be the only other two players penalized. Huber going for fighting and Campbell going for fighting and Polanic going for roughing. So the 5-minute penalties, of course, they're gone from the game with only 2:02 left. And Polanic, if everything holds steady here, will have 2 seconds of ice time remaining when his penalty expires.
You know, Larry, interesting now to watch with only 2:02 to go. We might see Tommy McVie pull Gary Smith anyway, even down by 2 goals. They're going to have a full 2 minutes and only 2 seconds left in the game of a power play here, and we may see big Mr. Smith out of the goal, and it'll be a 6-on-4 situation.
Right now, Smith looks rather unconcerned as he just kind of flops around down there and glides out to pick up this loose puck. Norwich with the puck. Sullivan picks it up. Back to Norwich. Lindstrom out on the right side to Sullivan. Sullivan looking for a man across the hall. He missed it wide. Now Lukowicz in behind, gives it to Sullivan. Hall just cruising around. Now Bobby is back in the corner. Lukowicz moving in. Hall now back in the slot. Now to come to the right point. Shot knocked down by the Red Wings' Paul Woods, and Barry Long clears it out. We're nearing the 1-minute mark remaining in the hockey game. Red Wings leading it by a score of 6-4. Here come the Jets back up the ice. Dumped in by Norwich. 57 seconds left in the game now as Hull ties up the Red Wing over on the far side. That is Pete Mahovlich. And we'll have a face-off to the left of Rutherford.
We are going to see Gary Smith out of the net, Larry, with just 53 seconds left. The power play for Winnipeg, and now they're going to have 6 skaters on 4. And I believe Bobby Crom may want a timeout here.
Well, he's calling the Red Wings over for a little bit of a chat with 53 seconds left, and there is the Winnipeg Jets net as Gary Smith has gone to the players' bench. Remember the great train robbery coming up in its entirety here on TV immediately following the conclusion of this telecast from Olympia. Again, we invite you to join us tomorrow evening, airtime 8 o'clock from Jennison Fieldhouse at the Michigan State University campus for college basketball. As Michigan State takes on Long Beach State, airtime 8 o'clock, here live on TV.
I'm looking down at there's a shot of Bobby Crom giving directions on his side, and Crom did call a timeout, and we see down at the other bench, Tom McVie, it looks like with a pencil and paper, going over like a playbook in football with his players, because they're going to have 6 skaters on against 4 of the Red Wings here, with the goaltender out and Dennis Polanic in the penalty box for all but 2 seconds of the game.
53 seconds left. Hall, Sullivan, Marsh, Lindstrom, Norwich are on.
Very big face-off, Larry. Peter Mahovlich taking the draw, and a real important face-off here. If he can win that, back to Barry Long and possibly dump the puck out of their over their own blue line.
Lukowicz is the 6th man on now. Face-off to the left of Rutherford. Big face-off. And Mahovlich wins it, and Long drives it the length of the ice. Now Woods racing down into the corner, but won't win the race. It's popped free, however. And it's raked back now by Willie Lindstrom. 38 seconds left in the game. Marsh brings it up. Good move now. This is Lukowich. His shot semi-stopped, and Rutherford fires it back. 27 seconds left. Marsh with it. Marsh is hauled down by Mahovlich. Will get a penalty on Mahovlich. And this could cause a little bit of a problem here. Marsh a little bit shaken up on the penalty, as the Red Wings will be down to 3 skaters here for 18 seconds.
Well, with only 20 seconds left, Larry, it's very, very
How do you not think about it?
They could score 2 goals, but the Wings are going to play 2 men short. It'll be with the goalie out now for Winnipeg, 6 skaters on 3. But fortunately for the Wings, I think, with only 20 seconds left in the face-off outside their own blue line, I think it's easy to say that they're safe at this point. But funnier things have happened in the National Hockey League.
Mahovlich off at 1940 for tipping. We'll take another look at the penalty on Mahovlich.
Here's the puck comes loose over to Marsh in the center ice area. Peter coming over, takes a piece of him there, and just the stick catches in his skates and dumps him. So he's going to get a tripping penalty.
Lindstrom on the left side. Fires into the corner. 13 seconds left. Lukowich on the far side to Lindstrom. Lindstrom trying to tee it up. Pass off to the right to Hall, and it's covered up by Barry Long.
Oh, what a big play by Long, Larry.
Just 5 seconds away from victory for the Red Wings now.
3 or 4 Winnipeg players all standing in front of Jimmy Rutherford, and Barry Long all by his lonesome. And fortunately, the puck came right into Long, and he went down and smothered it up and covered it up to draw the faceoff with only 5 seconds left.
So we have 5 seconds left in the hockey game. The faceoff to the left of Jimmy Rutherford. Sobchuk in for the faceoff with Sullivan. Goes into the corner. Long fires it against the boards, and the hockey game is over. And the Red Wings record a 6-4 victory over the Winnipeg Jets, but it wasn't easy. There were just 2 goals scored in the third period. Lindstrom made it 5-4, scoring an unassisted goal at the 8:15 mark. And then Vaslav Nedomatsky put it out of reach with his second goal of the night, his 16th of the season, with assists going to McCourt and Jolly. And the time of the goal was 16:13 to make it 6-4. Penalties in the third period. Wilson went off at 10:12 for holding. Huber went off at 17:58 along with Campbell for fighting. Polonich at 17:58 for roughing, and Mahovlich at 19:40 for tripping. Live from Olympia Stadium on TV Sports has presented National Hockey League action between the Detroit Red Wings and the Winnipeg Jets. Join us for our next sports telecast when college basketball action begins. Defending national champion Michigan State hosts Long Beach State. That's Thursday night, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, here on TV. Now stay tuned as On TV presents the Great Train Robbery in its entirety. For Mickey Redmond, this is Larry Osterman.